Good morning. This is P. Ray, and I want to say happy Monday. I am here because I attended Reverend Jackson's funeral, and I want to give my condolences to the Jackson family and say thank you to Reverend Jackson for everything that you've done for our people nationally and here in the great city of Chicago. This message is for former President Barack Obama. It seems like at the services you were focused on letting people know that you were going to be the next leader of Black America. And I'm asking you kindly to please leave us alone. We don't need another leader. You had 8 years to do what you needed to do for us, and we lost 70% of our collective wealth. The only thing that we got from the Obama administration was a bunch of vacant lots that are now driving up our property taxes and exacerbating flooding issues. We want to be able to create our own leadership. People who are my age voted for you as teenagers and young adults, and we watched our communities crumble for 8 years. We don't have 8 more years for you. So please leave the plight of Black Chicago alone and let us heal from the damage that you've already inflicted on us. Shout out to former Congressman Jesse Jackson Jr. for calling out the political grandstanding that took place at his father's funeral. I, too, was not impressed because Reverend Jackson deserved more than for his funeral to be turned into a DNC rally, the same group of people that is actively hurting the city of Chicago, specifically the Black community. Vote red instead, and I hope to see you at the polls next Tuesday.
Who would have ever guessed that not even, what was it, a week or two after the funeral of Jesse Jackson, of the Reverend Dr. Jesse Jackson Sr., we would have somebody on the show who is actually at that funeral. And not only that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she was at the funeral.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
But on top of that, it gets even better. This young lady is running for Congress, and we're going to talk to her in just a little bit. Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 47 of Apostate Radio. 47 episodes we've been doing this. I am, of course, Isaiah Carter. Coming to you live from the suburbs, which seem to be triggering for many of the gentrifiers who took over New York City. Yeah, I'll get to y'all in a little bit. And to the right on your screen is my brother, my
TV Zone.
TV Zone, yes. News Nation. News Nation. He's coming
News Nation correspondent Nino Chavez.
Yes. How you doing, bro?
Oh man, just living the life, dude. I tell you what, man, being a television star changes your life immediately, man. You show up, you're on Boccia with Adam B. Coleman, running with the big dogs. Running with the big dogs. My whole life's changed, bro. I'm driving limousines, mink fur coat.
Well, listen, before we even get to our business, we've got Joker in the building. What's up, brother? Great to see you. Yeah, but he's incredible. Thank you so much for supporting our show, brother.
What about the other Joker, Master Shake? Is he in there?
Nah, he ain't here yet. At least I don't know. You got
Clown
24. Great, brother. Thank you for joining us over there on Rumble. We appreciate you. Joker said he's here to beg P. Ray to follow me back.
All right. It's one way to do it.
Yeah, he says he's just kidding, sorta. Okay. And let me see. Yeah, and the scrapping beauty says appalling using a man's funeral. Yeah, we're gonna get to that.
It is very appalling.
Of course, the big man, Mr. Jordan Bowles, JB. Good
JB.
It was. You know what? I meant to say this. I actually met that young man a couple weeks ago when we were down in DC.
That's right.
Yeah.
Big dog JB.
Let me tell you something. That boy bigger than me. I'm dead serious. I asked him if he was able to bench press a Toyota Camry. Like he that big. That's a big dude, bro.
We need to have him in our we need to have him on our what do you call it? The security detail.
Security detail, yeah. But anyways, but
him and Zeek Arkham. See if Zeek wants to read that up.
Right. I mean, shit, as big as we all are, man, we might as well just form up. We might as well start our own security.
We start our own start an NWO, man. start a wrestling faction.
Oh my god.
Evolution.
We go to Washington Square Park and just square up on DSA members. You know what I'm saying? That'd be awesome.
Spray painting them.
Oh my god, that'd be great.
Anyway.
Apostate Radio, of course, NY is where you can follow us, or you can follow our show updates, all that good stuff. And yes, we need coffee, lots of coffee. This show, we don't run on Dunkin' because Dunkin' is gross. We require single origin beans from Nicaragua. So if you
no from Costa Rica, man.
Costa Rica, there we go. Yeah, Costa Rica. and let me tell you something. Costa Rican coffee is delicious. I've had
very good
one day.
Quite good. Volcanic soil, man.
Yeah, man. And of course, you can subscribe to me on on X, $5 a month. You will be able to get your and you will be able, if you are a subscriber to the to my personal account, you will actually have the ability to ask. You will have your questions asked of our guests first.
That's a bargain. That's a bargain. You could subscribe to me personally by sending me $5 a month as well. If you want.
Oh, you got it?
Because no, I don't have it. Just send me some money though. I'll send me a message. I'll send you my Venmo, and I can work on upgrading my undergarments.
There you go. Right.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, man. All right, let's get to this because we got guests here. We got
a lot of guests. Let's go.
Big show. I want to first introduce our. I'm gonna do. Understand. I'm doing this in order of people that we've had on the show before, and also I'm gonna give my grand introduction to the young lady who we played on the intro. So joining us once again, everybody's favorite hugger. And his tolerance for Foolie Wang is quite low. Let me get Mr. Zeek in here. What's going on, brother? You can't hear me? You can't hear me? Uh-oh.
Zeek, can you hear me?
You
Nino?
Can you hear either one of us? Can you hear us now? Hold on. Wait, let me break. Oh, that's unusual. Hold on. Can you hear us now, brother? Oh, this is weird. This is very weird.
It might be. I feel like it's
come back.
Yeah,
okay,
why don't you come back, Zeek? Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you, Isaiah. It's probably a Zeek thing.
Probably. But logic.
I can hear Zeek.
Mr. JP is here. Up? What's going on, sir?
What it do?
Hey, man, great to see you. Metro Conservative
Logic back on, man.
Likewise, man. Great to see you guys. And like you said, Nino, man, you are famous, bro. Saw you. What you the News Nation correspondent?
The correspondent, man. Yeah, man. That's me now, man.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
Never gave me any money, man.
There you go. Shit. There we go. We can hear you. Good.
Yeah.
Zeek Arkham. Yes,
that was smart.
The aforementioned. His tolerance for Foolie Wang is quite low.
What is Foolie Wang? What is Foolie Wang? I'm not familiar with this.
Just stupidity, like sheer stupidity. Like when you see someone do something stupid, and you just kind of look at them like, "Are you okay?" Like, you know.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of that, man. Is that so? Something like malarkey.
Yeah, like as my grandmother would say, like she would see someone do something dumb, and then she would just be like, "Oh, he's special." You know, he's just, God doesn't make everyone the same. Some people.
Did she say bless his heart?
Special. And then it would be just bless his heart. Bless her heart, you know?
That's sweet, man. That's a sweet way to put it.
Here this asshole goes. We're professional podcasters, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Like even Joe Rogan don't have it doesn't have technical difficulties. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Fucking Master Shake. Master Shake talks shit every week, and he's here every goddamn week the whole time. 3 hours.
That means he's a fan. That means he's
a fan.
You,
exactly.
That means he is sitting at his computer just waiting for you to. If you miss a week, his entire week is screwed up. He's just
he doesn't know what to do,
bro.
He's twiddling his thumbs on a Sunday night.
We're not talking, man. This brother, he missed. Damn.
Exactly. Last but not least, I've been wondering, like this young lady has impressed me beyond anything I could have asked for. Okay, had a chance to talk to her directly earlier this week, and she is running for New Illinois 7th district. She's running to represent Illinois. Running to represent Illinois 7th district in Chicago, and I got a lot. I got a lot of questions for her. She is running as a Republican, and she is beloved by President Trump, and we will ask her about this. Ladies and gentlemen, coming to us before her before her election, the election day, Tuesday out there in Chicago, Miss P. Ray Easley. What's going on, lady? How are you?
Welcome. Thank you, gentlemen, for having me today. I feel really good. I'm live here from the west side of Chicago, the city of Chicago, where the sun shines brighter and the people are happier. I am here in a space where my family has lived for generations. And I live in Chicago because I want to live in Chicago. It's the greatest city in the world, and we're not going to continue to find comfort in the chaos of this progressive failure that they're pushing on us. So thank you for having me today.
Man, you got your speech down.
I love that. Got my vote.
I heard the brother talking. I too am on TV, so you know you got your little point. Shout out to Fox News, One America News Network, Newsmax, and every other news outlet that has let P. Ray come on their stage.
Oh shoot!
We are star-studded. This is star-studded Hollywood Squares episode here, man. Look at this.
Hey, I got a question. Is there an East Side Chicago?
Yes. So technically, if you look at the map, no, because the east side would be considered the lake. But we have what's called Over East, which is the southeast side of Chicago. So yeah, that's like the area that Kanye West is from. Yeah,
so he's from Over East.
Yes, he's from Over East.
I honestly, I thought that was just how Baltimore referred to the east side. Like,
right?
No, you got, so like, I'm from the west side, so we have the west side, but then south side people say out west. West side people say out south, and then it's up north and over east.
That's
out south.
Right. I'm just surprised you got somebody from New York and Chicago, because neither town plays about our pizza. So you know what I'm saying.
Here we go.
You lucky you doing this over Zoom, because
look at you meddling and trying to start a fight. messy.
It's gonna be now, here's the crazy thing, because I said this, like, when it comes between, I lived in New York for like 10 years and change. When it comes to the pizza, I'm sorry, and y'all can take my card. Chicago's pizza better.
Ooh. It's the water. It's the water that makes Chicago food delicious. Everything in Chicago is like mwah, mwah, mwah.
Isaiah, you're gonna have to live there now, man. You're gonna have to live there now.
Listen, I am perfectly fine. Listen, in Baltimore, where I'm originally from, like we had the opportunity. We have like many different types of pizza. Logic can attest to that because he still lives down there. So
yeah.
All right. P, first off, thank you all for joining us tonight. Really happy to have you here. P, what happened I'm gonna just go ahead and get right to it. What inspired before that? That'll be the second question. What inspired you to run? Why are you running for Congress, for the U.S. House of Representatives? And what have you been up against?
So I'm running for this position because I've been training for it since I was 12 years old. I grew up in my U.S. Congressman's office, Congressman Danny K. Davis. He's like my godfather. So every day after school, I would go straight to the congressman's office or to the NAACP office to assist on a federal initiative that the Congressional Black Caucus was doing called WOW, with ownership wealth. And the goal was to increase Black. Y'all hear that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Hold on, it might be my son. Sorry.
Okay, I didn't know if that was me. Okay.
I was checking.
So the Congressional Black Caucus had an initiative to improve Black wealth or increase Black home ownership by 1 million between 2000 and 2010. When I graduated from high school in 2005, I had 500 service hours from specifically working on this federal housing program. So I know how the congressman's office works. I know how to utilize different areas of the federal government in order to bring resources to our people on the ground. This is just what I do. I tell people my father had a history degree, and every day of my life was a history lecture, okay? And so he taught me American politics in Chicago, politics along with history. Steph Curry's daddy taught him how to shoot free throws. My daddy taught me how to do Chicago politics. So this is what I always knew I would be doing. However, my respect for the congressman always made me tell people I'm never gonna run against the congressman, okay? I don't wanna even know him in that way. But when he announced that he was going to retire, I said, okay, this is the perfect moment. I already have a relationship with the White House. I'm currently working with the White House and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to deal with this federal housing mismanagement in the city of Chicago. Initially, I went to the White House not to see President Trump, but to have a conversation with Dr. Carson. So I left, long story short, but long. In 2016, I went into political exile to protest Barack Obama and Rahm Emanuel. I took my 4-year-old and we moved to sunny Senegal in West Africa. And so, yes, I could not take it. And the reason being is because of how, I mean, aside from like my issues with Obamacare, because I worked on this federal housing initiative and I graduated from Hampton University in 2009 with a finance degree, and I was on Wall Street July 2008 when the market crashed, okay? And I was like, nobody is as upset about this as me. The banks gave us these bogus loans. The Senate testimony, they admitted that they purposely targeted our communities with these horrible instruments. And then the president of the United States bailed out the banks, but still allowed the people to lose their homes. And that resulted in a massive wealth transfer.
Wow.
And so I couldn't take it, and I left. So I came back to the country when President Trump won, and I happened to be on this blog, Gossip. I don't know if y'all watch it, but I'm into Black celebrity gossip as well. And so it said Sunken Place Coon Festival. What is this? So I clicked it and I saw Ben Carson's picture, and next to it was a girl named Candace Owens. And they said, this is the Young Black Leadership Summit that's going to be held in Gaithersburg, Maryland. I'm like, whatever this is, I got to go because I need to talk to Dr. Carson about this federal housing mismanagement in Chicago. So I applied to go. 3 days later, I get an email at work. The President of the United States requests your presence at the White House. Woo!
Wow.
So at the time,
wow.
I was working as an investment advisor at Merrill Lynch. So we're all sitting in our little cubicles, and I just started going crazy. They're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, the president told me to come to the White House. So I'm passing my phone around. My manager's like, take the time. You got it. Oh, my God, you're going to the White House. I go to the White House, walk right into Dr. Carson. Dr. Carson, I'm Patricia from Chicago. This administration talks too much trash about my city, and it needs to stop. We are dealing with federal housing mismanagement, and you, sir, are the housing secretary. If you could compel the city of Chicago to spend the over $1 billion of federal housing funds that they've been hoarding for the past almost 20 years, so this is like 2018, we can take care of ourselves. We're the children of the Mississippi cotton pickers. Nobody's stronger than us, nobody's tougher than us, and nobody will outwork us. You do your part and we will do our part. And he was like, whoa, I know women like you from Detroit. You came right here on business. I said, yes, I didn't come here for pictures. I came here for help. So he told me what their plan was for Chicago, which was to remove the aldermanic prerogative. This was a legislative tool that was put into the city council when our people came up here from Mississippi. I told y'all, long story short, but long. So when our people came up here from Mississippi, they needed a lot of housing. And so the city council created the aldermanic prerogative, which gave the aldermen the right to veto any development that they don't want in their wards. So according to Dr. Carson, this exacerbated housing segregation and housing discrimination. And that's why the Chicago Housing Authority had not spent the money, because all of the aldermen were like, I don't want no public housing in my ward. So he said that they were going to get rid of that, and then we would start seeing shovels in the ground. I said, thank you so much, Dr. Carson. Y'all, President Trump got on the stage and gave the best pro-Black speech I've ever heard in my life, okay? This speech was so fire that they don't even show it, okay? You have no evidence of this 2018 speech. We were in the White House screaming, we free, we free. He's like, yes, you are. The Democratic Party is treating you guys like slaves, and you're free people. This is your country. Your ancestors built it. I'm like, ah! I'm like even getting goosebumps thinking about it.
What?
So I came, that energy from that speech has sustained me 8 years later. And that's why I'm giving it to you with this same energy that I told back then. So I come back to Chicago because, again, I'm in the, political silo here. And I tell people, I went to the White House. He wasn't that bad. Let me tell y'all what he said. They were like, boo, get her out of here. We don't want to hear that. So I'm
like, the Steve Harvey treatment.
Yes. And so Lori Lightfoot got elected in 2019. She went to the White House, met with President Trump, Ivanka, and Dr. Carson, came back, opened the city council, and said no more aldermanic prerogative. I'm like, oh, this is what he said. So at that, yes. So at that point, I'm like, okay, they kept their word to me, so now I got to do my part. And we started doing Black Chicago for Trump in 2020, which is wild if you think about the 2020 election. I was doing Trump rallies. I had Trump signs in my yard, and you better not come in my gate, okay? Like, yes, we were doing this. And so that evolved into me having a radio show here on the Black radio station, WVON. The call letters stand for Voice of the Negro. This is the oldest Black station in the
What's that? Oh,
wait, we lost her.
Oh,
they
no.
coming to get her.
They came. Oh my Lord! They came and got her real quick, didn't they? I don't even like joking like that, but golly. P, when you come back up there, okay, she's back. Back.
Okay, sorry. Somebody, you can put your phone on do not disturb, and then people call you twice. Okay, I digress. So, I'm on the radio station now. When Martin Luther King lived in Chicago, he hosted the morning show. Barack Obama had a show on here. Roland Martin had a show on here. Tavis Smiley, Brandon Johnson, and P. Ray.
Hold on a second. I got to ask you a question. Did the radio station, like, how much did Roland Martin charge to rent out that forehead space for billboards?
Man, look, Roland might talk mess to y'all. He never talks mess to me, ever. Never does Roland talk crazy to me, because he knows that there are grown men up here that really care about me and don't play. Okay, so
because he's like 5 feet tall. He first of all, he probably has to look up to you to say
no,
it.
I'm a petite woman myself. I actually saw him at Reverend Jackson's funeral, and I was like in his camera shot and everything, and he would not like say nothing because he knows. Not that I'm a gang member, but the men, I don't fight men. I have men go talk to other men on my behalf. And that doesn't mean you're a gang member. It just means that I'm a woman and I don't fight men. So anyway, I'm on WVON. I got Black Excellence Hour. Initially, they thought that I was going to get laughed and booed off the stage because I called President Trump my Donnie on the show. I'm like, yeah, let me tell y'all about my Donnie, because they don't like to hear Trump. So I said, we won't say Trump, we'll just say Donnie from now on. And so the show was so good that my congressman stated that my show was turning his wife into a Republican. So he can only imagine what I was doing to the city. Then the Democratic Party comes to the station, purchases my time, and they put Tavis Smiley's morning show from KBLA, whatever it's called. Now that plays in Chicago at night, and it's 14 hours behind the news. But it's better than me giving people real-time Republican stuff. So from there, I ended up going on Fox News, and then the president saw me, started tweeting about me. P. Ray, I saw you on Fox. You a leader beyond your time. I'm like, whoa. Then I went to a rally. I'm doing my little USA. And the Secret Service comes. They tap me on the shoulder. Are you P. Ray? I'm like, yes. They're like, come with us. I'm like, why? They said, because the president wants to meet you in the back. Wow. So I go to the back. He comes in, and both of us start fanning out. Ah, it's you! Ah! So,
I hear that.
yo, straight up. So he's like hugging me. He's like, yo, you're amazing. You so brave to be doing this in Chicago. I'm like, who gonna whoop me? And so he's like, take our picture. So he autographed it. And to P. Ray, I adore you. He posted it on his social media. Then he mailed it to my house. And so, yeah, I'm just been working. So what I'm doing was never for myself. It's always been to help the community that loves me as much as I love it. That's great.
So that's Trump you're talking about, right? That you met?
Yes, sir. My darling.
And I thought he was supposed to be a racist white supremacist. What's going on with
Hey, maybe, I don't know. I've never seen it. He's the only president in history to host a young black leadership summit for 3 years at the White House. Had he not done that, I just would still be a disgruntled Democrat. But I got red pilled by the president at the White House.
Zeke, weren't you at one of those?
I went to listen, man. You just gonna bring that up, huh? Yeah, I went last year. I went to the Black History celebration at the White House, but I didn't get invited this year. You know, my invitation got lost in the mail.
Mine too.
Me neither.
I'm totally not salty about it either, right, man? I'm not salty about it. Everything is okay. All right, I'm totally okay about it.
I've been on 5 times. Every time
we're
they
still
do
waiting for
something,
us.
I'm in there. Because I'm telling you, we working.
It's not like I have my suit pressed and ready.
P-Ray, you got to get
else,
us in.
You know?
Yeah, get us in, P-Ray. I want to go.
I'm going to do my part. Send me an email and I'll see what I can do.
Okay.
Latinos invited
No, because next.
What token Latino there?
Man, y'all got your own day, man. Nino, you got chill, bro.
What's our day? What's our day? I don't even know. What's our day?
I don't know. I mean, get your if you don't have one, start one.
That's true. That's a good point. I should just take the P-Ray script and do everything she did and make it happen.
So let me ask you this: like what your district? Tell us a little bit about your district and what your like what are some of your big concerns that's happening besides housing? Like what is your because I saw a video. I'm gonna pull it up in just a second of you, and you were talking about I believe it was retail spaces that have been hollowed out in a certain part of your district. So
yeah, the entire district.
Yeah.
So before I get into retail, I want to show you the district. This is my district, the Chicago downtown area. So it goes from the western suburbs all the way to the lake. And then it goes south from the South Loop, Bronzeville, Inglewood, Washington Park. What that means to you all is the south side and the west side of Chicago. It's one of the blackest districts in America at 44%. So Chicago is a very segregated town, and we like our segregation, America. Please don't try to make us integrate. We love our ethnically monotonous communities because it allows you to maintain your culture, and then you can commodify that culture and sell it to others. So shout out to the great city of Chicago and all of our 77 communities. So with that, yes, sir.
You know what? That is a very, very interesting point that you bring up. Why is it that Democrats don't seem to understand that? Why is it the whole thing about gentrification, right? And I really want to bring this up as a now former New York City resident. You have neighborhoods like in Astoria, Queens, okay, that were Greek for generations. Bensonhurst, Italian for generations. The neighborhood that I lived in, Brownsville, East New York, like historically Caribbean, right? I don't understand this burning desire to gentrify and flatten and turn everything. It's almost like ethnically homogenous neighborhoods scare the left for some reason. Are you seeing that where you are in Chicago?
Yes, and we keep telling them, leave us alone. I live in the Austin community, which is America's largest Black American community. There are 85,000 of us in one neighborhood. There were 120,000 of us before we got mixed up with Barack Obama. So we love it. When I say, and I just want to give you a different context. So
Please.
Our people are from Mississippi. In the summertime, people like to sit on their porches and play the blues and R. Kelly and step under the moonlight, right? But then we have neighbors who moved in and they keep roosters. So now we got to hear cock-a-doodle-doo in the morning. I don't want to hear that. You understand me? Just like you don't want to hear R. Kelly played at midnight. So everybody needs to go to spaces where your culture is okay to be expressed. But when you bring these people together, it's a way of polishing out culture so that you are just this flat, whatever they want you to be. And then they get to set your cultural standards. So for us, we say no. Like I said, if you live in a cultural, monotonous community, you maintain your culture and then you can commodify it and sell it to others. Like we know at Little Village, we can go there and get wonderful Mexican food. They say Chicago has the best Mexican food in America. We can go to Greektown. We can go to Little Italy. We can go to Austin. We can go to Chinatown. And you can have these experiences and it's not racist because this is your community. I digress. So back to what I was saying. So because we're segregated, there is a 20-year life expectancy gap between Black Chicago and downtown, which is a wider area. Now, if you hear that initially, you would think, oh, Black people are eating too much, they're drinking too much, they're smoking too much, they're too stressed. Friends, that has absolutely nothing to do with it. We are all drinking Chicago Tap and eating soggy Italian beef sandwiches, okay? So everybody got the same diet. The issue is that there is a banking issue that must be addressed. So as I stated, I worked at Merrill Lynch as an investment advisor, and I successfully courted a large hospital in my community as a client. They're the biggest employer in the community. They've been there for 100 years. And so the CEO, I did this so well, guys, that we had a framed picture together on his desk, okay? I really got this going. So he gave me $64 million. He said, baby girl, we know that you love us like we love you. Take our money and watch it. When this deal is over, it's going to be worth $100 million. Now, for a junior advisor like myself, that's huge. I take it down to the firm. They clap for me in the morning meeting, and then they run it back and said, Patricia, we can't move forward with this deal. I said, and why not? They said, because their Medicaid reimbursement rate is too high. If your Medicaid reimbursement rate for a healthcare institution is over 17%, they are a risky client because Medicaid does not pay at 100% and they do not pay on time. So there are two things that we have to address with Medicaid. Number one, because President Trump has stated that hospitals are now going to start printing a schedule of pricing, now people cannot play and overbook and overprice based on if you're Medicaid or if you're standard private insurance. So we have to make Medicaid pay their receipts at 100%. Currently, they're paying between 60 and 70%. So the hospitals who are safety net hospitals, and those are hospitals that use Medicaid, they're always going to be functioning at a deficit because Medicaid does not pay 100% of the receipts. So that we're going to fix. The second thing that I want to do, because Congress sets credit standards, what we're going to do is legislate with our friends down in the rural counties because they're dealing with this as well. We want to remove Medicaid as a credit factor when it comes to lending to healthcare institutions because it's the banks who are deciding who lives, who dies, who gets quality healthcare, and then that exacerbates this life expectancy gap. If everybody has the same access to the same markets, the same credit markets, then we can lower this gap and people won't feel like they have to move out of the community in order to get quality health care. So yes, that's my major piece because that's literally dealing with the lives of the American people.
How long has that been going on? Because I can't speak for anyone else, but I had no idea that was going on in terms of in terms of Medicare being like tied into that. Can you help us understand a little bit more?
I'm not sure. And if you don't work in banking, you wouldn't have known. Like, had I not brought this client to the firm, I never would have found this out. Because my response to them is, so you guys want me to go back and tell my client that we can't take $64 million because it came from poor people? That's what you want me to go back and tell these people? And they were like, whoa, we didn't think about it like that. I said, yeah, because that's the conversation that I got to go have. So then they had to come together, give me scripting, how to give it to them nice with sugar on it. But this is a major issue. And like I said, it's not just in not just in urban areas. This is in rural areas. So this gives us the opportunity to work in a bipartisan rural and urban movement in order to improve banking standards, to improve the life expectancy and health outcomes of Americans. This is an easy sell. And unless you know about it, you don't know about it. But now that I do, I'm going to make sure I get that done in Washington.
Go ahead, Nino.
No, I mean, that's all of this is great. This is, I think exactly what Chicago needs. So I think, and it's great that you've been so active with President Trump and been so influential. Are you still doing the radio thing?
I'm not. I do. Everybody's like, we miss Black Excellence Hour. So we definitely have to get it going. General Michael Flynn. General Michael Flynn came on the show. And he told us that the cartel is currently laundering its money through the real estate market in Black Chicago. And we knew that already because we're like, where are they getting all this money to buy the houses for cash for $250,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000? Well, friends, they are getting wires from Mexico straight to Chicago title. And then they're just giving them these houses. But if the five of us showed up down there with $250,000 in cash, they're calling the government. It's time to call the white man. They want to know how every single dime we accounted for, right? But they're not doing that for them. And so it puts us at a disadvantage because we have to go through the banks and they're laundering drug money. So this is why I was so adamant about the border being closed, because in my district, we have I-290. All roads in America lead to the 7th Congressional District, which is the Chicago Loop. All roads loop around and then come back out. And so we are America's distribution for the heroin trade. 90% of the heroin in this country is trafficked right here off the west side of Chicago. So it's turned us into a narco town. General Flynn told us that the cartel has infiltrated our local government, and that's why they're going so hard to keep us as a sanctuary city, because they know if they come here and they get arrested, they won't be deported because we have legislation that protects them to our detriment. So that's why I was going so hard. If you watch my content on national TV, I'm like, Mr. President, send ICE now, close the border now, not because of the Venezuelans, but because of the drug trafficking. Because not only are they trafficking drugs, but they're trafficking guns. And that's how the boys are out here shooting each other up with these military style weapons. People aren't talking about this. They're not making the connection. And then we know that the Chinese are engaged in bioterrorism against the American people. So the cartel is bringing this fentanyl here to the city of Chicago. And we got the kids dying at school, y'all. I got my friend, she has a 15-year-old. 5 of his friends have died off the pills. Wow. Nobody's talking about that.
That's crazy.
So how is Chicago financially benefiting from that, right? Because there got to be some money going towards the government, because it almost sounds like it's becoming a narco city, it's a narco state type, environment. So how is the city benefiting from that?
So if you're selling $2 billion worth of heroin a year, now you've created a $2 billion economy. So they are laundering money in multiple ways. That could be through creating charter schools. They call them doing the charter school scam. Through the housing. So now you don't have vacant housing because you have them coming in buying the housing for cash. So now they're putting their families in the housing and pushing Black folks up to Iowa and Wisconsin and wherever else, Chicagoans are around the country. 250,000 Chicagoans, Black Chicagoans, have left this city since 2000. That's 250,000 people. So yes, they're doing this on purpose. And because I was raised, again, doing this, I was watching the scam unfold my whole life because I've always been in the inside. I was raised as a princess in the Democratic Party. So I know the secrets of the court. And I'm like, this ain't gonna work. I can't be a part of this. No, sir. And I got away from them. So that's how they're getting paid. Businesses, it's a cash business. So anyway, you can pay cash and not have a record. That's what they're doing.
What about crypto? Are they using crypto at all?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sure they are. I'm very sure that they are. But I do know that they're purchasing these houses for cash through Chicago title.
Oh my God! So they are actually getting direct help from the city of Chicago government itself.
Correct. Because even when we talk about the Venezuelans being here, and what I'm going to tell you guys is not conjecture, you can look this up. The reason that El Chapo is currently in prison is because of a black man from the west side of Chicago. He was selling drugs. They caught him with the drugs. And then the police said, "Where did you get these drugs from?" He said, "Oh, I got them from these twins over in Little Village." Well, friends, those twins were the Flores twins, El Chapo's #1 and #2 guys in the city, in the country, because Chicago is the headquarters of most cartels in the Western Hemisphere. So they're not headquartered in Mexico. They're right here on the west side of Chicago. And Time Magazine has written extensively about this. And so, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Why Chicago?
Because we're the epicenter of America. We're America's distribution center. So if you want to distribute something throughout the country, all railways lead to Chicago, all roadways lead to Chicago. You can sail from Lake Michigan to the Atlantic by going through the Great Lakes and the locks. We got the rivers. You know, this is why Sears was the largest company in the world when it was headquartered right here on the west side of Chicago.
The Mississippi River goes up that far too, right?
No, sir. It's more west of us. But
Okay.
you can, it's definitely easy to navigate from Chicago to the Mississippi. Yes.
Gotcha. Now, real quick, the Power series, right, with Tommy and so how accurate was that, right? Because I know one of the actors was like they wanted to kind of keep the culture, keep it accurate to the culture, but at the same time, I mean, the whole theme of the show is drugs, money, power, right? So.
That's Chicago, baby. So the thing is, one thing about Chicago is they say that the South Side gang bangs and the West Side gets money. And the reason that they say West Side gets money is because we're the epicenter of drug trafficking. The men out here got money. Okay, if you're a street guy, you know, girls, hey, you know, it's a lifestyle if you live in it. So yes, it's a real thing. It's an economy. And so I think that the drug trafficking has allowed the Democrats to push industry out of the city. Because these men, if they were doing, you know, if they were alive 50 years ago, they would have had factory jobs. But because we don't have that infrastructure anymore, now those same workers are now working in the parallel economy in the drug world, or in the narco world, rather.
Jeez.
I've been thinking about this my whole life, y'all.
Wow.
What was Chicago's big industry? Was it like steel or something else before?
No, meat, actually.
Yeah, beef, right?
We provided America its meat. We had the meat market down in Fulton Market. We also had Sears here. We had Whirlpool, Jay's potato chips, Campbell's soup. Again, any large manufacturer that wants to distribute something throughout America, they did it here out of Chicago.
Wow. Zeek, go ahead, brother.
No, I'm just listening. I definitely support you. I see what's going on with Brandon Johnson, and I see he just comes across as a really weak, ineffective leader. He comes across as someone where he seems compromised. Like I've seen him, show extreme favoritism towards the teachers union, and it makes sense because that's where he came from. And now, it seems between Lori Lightfoot and him, Chicago's head down a bad path, and which I definitely recognize because I'm from New York and I see exactly what's going on. I'm not in New York City anymore, but I definitely see what's going on. So listen, I definitely support you if you're going in the opposite direction from those two.
So Brandon is a little tricky. I told the people don't vote for Brandon. Okay, this is when I was on the radio. I would literally read his website and I'm like, guys, everything here is about immigrants. If you have a social security number and a birth certificate, he has no plan for you. Do not vote for Brandon Johnson. However, we had Paul Vallis running against him. Paul Vallis was the CEO of the Chicago Public Schools when we were children, like in the late 90s. And so anybody with a kindergarten, middle school, or high school diploma signed by Paul Vallis is not voting for Paul Vallis, okay? He fired the lunch ladies. And Chicagoans were big foodies. Chicago public schools were delicious. Delicious. He fired the lunch ladies. He fired the janitors because Paul Vallis's role is to trim municipal pension obligations. And so wherever he goes, he privatizes public services. And so that really affected our community because those good government jobs were what was sustaining a lot of the communities. So we did not want to deal with Paul either, and Paul knew that. So people did not vote for Brandon Johnson. They voted against Paul Vallis. It's also important to realize that during the first, because there are 2 cycles of the mayoral race, Brandon won 0 black wards during the first round of voting, okay? Black votes don't have anything to do with this. I wish everybody would stop saying Black Chicago, you did this to yourself. No, we did not. The white progressives on the north side got Brandon to the runoff, okay? So neither one of our candidates were chosen.
This is a running theme.
Yeah.
Like, this is a running theme. Like, so in New York, right? Mamdani, you know, we got like the same thing people talk about, right? They say, you know, you vote like you voted for it, but it's like black folk did not vote for Zohran. Black folk would never, especially if they are native of New Yorkers, like native of New York City, they were never feeling Zohran like that. And there weren't a lot, and like I said, like I think it was maybe like it was somewhere in the 50s. Zeek, you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the bottom line is Zohran was brought in by foreign, like foreign voters, like people who moved in, and also gentrifiers who had moved into New York within the last 2 years. Okay, in Baltimore, my hometown, Jovani, Logic's a hometown. Matter of fact, I'm gonna let Logic speak on this a little bit. There is something that he's drawn up, and I'm hoping you have an image to pull up of this, brother. The white, it's something that he's called the white L, where white progressives have essentially started to take over Baltimore as a city. This has never happened before, folks. Like Baltimore, Baltimore at one point was 70% black.
No, it still is. It's more black now.
Black?
It still is.
Well, I thought the number had gone down. Am I wrong about that?
No, it's still mostly black.
Okay, but not to know 70%.
Yeah, they just don't vote.
You know what? And I've seen that. We'll talk to us a little bit about how that's worked in Baltimore and how it like.
So, guys, just a correction. I'm seeing, at least from AI, that as of 2024, 2026 estimates, Baltimore, Maryland is approximately 58 to 60% black or African American right now.
Oh my God!
So if it used to be 70, then yeah, it went down. But
that's insane.
I think I remember it used to be higher. No,
yeah, it used to be, yeah, because like
it used to be around 70.
Yeah, it was. Like I grew up. I mean, I grew up in Northeast Baltimore. I grew up in Bel Air, Edison, and like I remember watching that neighborhood like throughout the 90s when I was in high school. That neighborhood got blacker once they blew up the projects. But that's but like yeah. Anyway, that's cool. But like, how like. So are we all noticing the pattern here?
Yeah. So I mean, I don't have the graphic. It was I gotta find it. It's a Baltimore Banner article, but they like Baltimore is kind of shaped like a trapezoid or whatever, five-sided, pentagon shaped, whatever. And down the center of it, kind of towards the middle, and then across towards the east, it kind of shapes up this L, right? And that's where a majority white population lives. In the election primary, because in Baltimore, you know, it's primarily Democratic. So the primary election is really what counts the most, right? The general, everybody just shows up to vote and just votes Democrat anyway. But in the primary, that's when the real decision is made. The problem with Baltimore is that no one showed up to vote except white people. And so Brandon Scott, who, if you look at Twitter, yeah, he might have a fan club on Twitter, not Twitter, but Instagram. He might have a fan club on Instagram, but those aren't voters.
They're not. Well, some are, but not. But
the majority not voters.
The majority, they're not. Yeah,
you can't count on Instagram for votes.
I know some of them people in his But go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, you just see the center and you look at the election numbers, the results, and it's just he got voted in by commie white people, right? These people that have the love is love signs in their front yard, the Black Lives Matter signs in front of the yard, because they think that's the security system. So when there is protests or riots that break out, they won't throw eggs or Molotovs at their house. But that's who voted for
over blood. It's like Passover blood. They put it on. They put it on.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
that's how we spot the most racist houses. If you got a Black Lives Matter sign in front of your house, you a racist, a real live racist. We don't need you to tell us our lives matter. Get out of here, boo. So yeah, those are like the white progressives are the most racist people. No, racism is the wrong word. They're the most Negro-phobic people you'll meet in your lives. Okay, I'm running into them up here, and it's interesting because when I'm reading the comments and they're saying that white people are oppressing them. Here in Chicago, white people aren't doing it. My mayor is Black. My Cook County Board president is Black. My lieutenant governor is Black. The president of the Water Reclamation District is Black. The speaker of the Illinois House is Black. The leader of the Senate is Black. We have the most Black elected officials in the state of Illinois, and Black folks are suffering. So this isn't a racial thing. This is a socialist versus communist. A socialist versus capitalist thing. And they are pushing my people deeper into socialism so that we will continue to depend on them rather than making us independent and able to compete in capitalism. Mm-hmm. That's what we're doing.
If you watch Chad O. Jackson's documentary about Martin Luther King Jr., he actually goes back and he's able to pinpoint exactly where the Russians targeted Black churches and Black leaders to really start putting Marxism into the neighborhoods. So that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Well, it's even deeper than that, sweetheart. Think about it like this. And no offense, I want to say this 3 times. No offense, no offense, no offense. In the 1930s, when the Nation of Islam was started, it was created by a guy named Farad Muhammad, who was a Saudi who just happened to be walking around Detroit, and he ran into Elijah Muhammad, excuse me. Farad Muhammad ran into Elijah Muhammad, and that's how they got the Nation of Islam started. Now, you have to remember that this was approximately 10 years after World War I, when the Ottomans lost the fight. So they came to America to indoctrinate the Negro population to fight against its government. And this is what they do all around the world. They'll go into a country, find a marginalized group, treat them as brothers, give them this camaraderie, hey, we're in this together, and then they'll tell them that your government is haram and you need to overthrow the government in the name of the religion. And that's why they were so off the chain in the 1950s and 60s. So yes, we are a sitting target for any enemy in the world against the United States because they play on the fact that the Democrats have smashed our self-esteem into the ground, and we will listen to anybody tell us that we're something, and then we'll go along with what their plan is. Which is why we got to focus on patriotic esteem.
This sounds very familiar to something. Let me just play this video. This old clip, and I think this actually speaks to what you were saying. Watch.
The goal of the international communist conspiracy is world domination. They have thus far been highly successful in accomplishing the step-by-step objectives necessary for reaching that goal. In the United States, the communist plans call for 2 revolutions at once. A revolution of a supposedly oppressed proletariat or working class against a capitalistic system that is supposed to breed wage slavery, unemployment, poverty, crises, and war. The second revolution is a revolt of the supposedly poor and oppressed Negroes of the Black Belt against the supposed lynching, segregation, social ostracism, and exploitation of the white man. Currently, what the communists call their Negro Revolutionary Movement, now masquerading behind the humanitarian banners of civil rights, is contributing tremendous momentum to the communist plans to take over the United States.
I know that sounds familiar to some people in here.
Man, now you're trying to piss me off, bro.
Don't get mad, get busy.
Yeah, exactly.
I know. Y'all know me. Y'all know me.
So, Logic. I see you working on something. Are you ready to show it?
Yeah, this just the map of the white L that I was referring to, and you can see it kind of distinctly. This is Baltimore City, right? Not to be confused with Baltimore County, because they're two separate places. But you see this blue L right here, right? This perfect representation of the what's called the white L. And then you see these kind of wings, this orange section. We call that the black butterfly because that's what kind of flies out from the L. But this was where Brandon Scott was elected, right? From all these areas. So along the waterfront down here, and then these affluent areas in the middle of the city. Even this pocket up here, I don't know if you can't see my mouth up here, right? This is the Jewish part of town. This is where the Jewish section. They didn't even vote for Brandon Scott, right? So, and then you can see. I'm surprised the Baltimore Banner even put this. Large margins of majority white precincts powered Brandon Scott to victory over challenger and former mayor Sheila Dixon. So again, black people ain't voting for this. Same thing you talk about in New York, Mamdani, like, and then just kind of prescribing this is how they put a black person or a person of color in place and say this is how black people. Or this is what black people want. This is how they need to be. Brandon Johnson, same thing you got experienced in Chicago, but it is this same pattern happening across the country.
This is crazy. This is crazy. I would love to see a breakdown of Chicago's of voting demographics too, but I have to say, like, this seems like an uphill battle. But
we gotta go vote.
We do.
I mean,
well, we gotta give our people something to vote for. So, like, when I'm outside, this is a very blue area. So I'm outside every day talking to people, barbershops, laundromats, grocery store, you name it, P-Ray is there. And so I'll be talking to the guys, and I'm like, hey, that brother, I need you to vote for me. And they like, man, Joe, we say Joe. Man, Joe, I don't vote. And I'm like, what you mean you don't vote? Man, I don't believe in none of that. I ain't got nobody. I say, vote for me. They're like, what you mean? I'm like, you never had a candidate like me. I'm trying to put some housing. Don't you want your cousins to come back from Iowa? They like, yes, you who we've been waiting on. Y'all, this is our congresswoman. So if we show them that there is value in their vote and that the things that they are suffering from will be solved if they vote, then they will be more active. But for years, we've been taught vote blue no matter who, especially here in Chicago, where our people were literally bullied into the Democratic Party. You guys can look this up. It's called the Shackman Decree, Shakman. It's a federal decree that made the city of Chicago stop bullying people into the Democratic Party. Okay, like it went up here. If you say you're a Republican 30 years ago, somebody would hit me in the face with a brick. In real life, guys, this is Chicago. And so people have been afraid to do other things. Now, it's also important to note that we have a social service economy instead of a capitalist economy. And what that means is that these organizations are funded through appropriations and grants that are controlled by Democrat leaders. And so people are voting to make payroll, not for policy. And that's why they keep making these laws to push capitalism out so they can bring in more non-for-profits, and then people will be stuck on this wheel of government funding. So you got to grant the people grace.
When did that start? Do you know?
They in the 60s with the vice lords. Actually, Nixon started that in Chicago. He thought that he was, sending money to do urban renewal and all that good stuff. Them brothers took that money and bought drugs. And it's just been. I'm laughing because it's so absurd. But yeah, that's how it happened. And so people just started running into this social service cycle. It also started under the Kennedys. Remember when Robert Kennedy was going around the country and showing all the black plight and, we got to help them out. So then all these people ran here with these non-for-profits, and it's just been, cyclical for generations now. And that's why they're not worried about solving the problem, because if we did solve the problem, what use would we have for these organizations?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
crazy.
I say the only way to thrive in Baltimore is to have a nonprofit.
Same with Chicago.
That as somebody who, like I said, like there's been so much about Baltimore that just broke my heart, but like we could have a whole show about that. P, you actually hit a very, very interesting point when you said you got to give people something to vote for. This has been a gripe of mine, and also, you know, my wife. We talk about this kind of stuff all the time, where we say flat out, like, they're not giving the Democrat Party. They just, it's almost like they refuse to give us anything to vote for. Like there's, and I'm speaking directly about the party itself. There is a situation. We lost her. Okay, well, she'll come.
I heard like a fan noise or something.
Yeah, same.
Was that coming from her?
It might have been. It might have been.
I don't know what's wrong with that.
While when she comes back, but like, I'll posit this question. But I forgot, Zeek, I'm gonna ask you first, because there was a woman who ran for New York City Council. I cannot remember her name. She was running as a Republican in Canarsie, Brooklyn, and the local the New York GOP gave her absolutely no help. She practically, like, she was begging the local GOP for help. They didn't want to help her do nothing. They just basically, they were just kind of like, oh, well, you're on your own. And that's the one question I want. That's the question I'm gonna ask her ask P. Ray when she get back. But like, why is it that the local Republican parties are refusing to do anything in terms of bringing in, supporting viable candidates who might actually be able to challenge the Democrat hegemony in these places?
Because the Republicans are beaten up and they're lazy and they don't want to do the work to actually go in and make inroads. Think about it. I tell my daughter all the time, you have to practice, you have to work, and it starts with day one. Day 100, you'll be looking back and saying, hey, I've progressed, but it starts with day one. On top of that, I mean, Black folks as a whole are in the unfortunate position where the Democrat Party takes them for granted and the Republican Party just doesn't want to do the work to actually get new voters and actually reach out to them and actually go into some of the neighborhoods and reach out to them and get new voters. Reason being is because Black folks are so subscribed to vote blue no matter who, and are so shackled to the Democrat plantation that they don't even want to look at anybody else. If you tell a Black person you're a Republican, or even if you're independent, they look at you sideways. They look at you funny. Now all of a sudden you're an Uncle Tom, you're a coon. They get their preachers to come and make fun of you. They get their so-called leaders, the Al Sharptons out there, to come in and talk down about you. So the Republicans don't want to do anything to actually get votes. They don't want to do a day one. They don't want to get to a day 100. They'd rather just fold their arms and go, you know what? We're going to wait for someone to come in and be lightning in the bottle, and then we'll come in and do something. Then we'll come in and pretend we've been here all along. Then we'll attach people to them. Think about it. When the guy was running for senator, John Fetterman, when he was running for senator in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, excuse me, you had everyone show up to support him. Obama showed up to support him. Joe Biden showed up to support him. You know, Democrats love to, they'll fly out to support their own people. You know, Mamdani, when he was running, AOC came and supported him. Elizabeth Warren came and supported him. Where was all this support for a Republican who was running against, you know, any of these people? Did the Republican Party come out there and really do something, or did they just hoard money and gatekeep? If a Republican runs in New York, do you think the Republican Party, the GOP, is going to come out there and try to heavily promote this guy or this woman? No, because they're going to wait for this person to do the work first and capture lightning in a bottle, and then they'll come in. That's why I said the Republican Party is lazy. They're becoming, if they're not already there, useless. and they have to do work, and they don't want to do work.
Yeah, I can agree with that 100% because I ran for office in Baltimore City as a Republican and got zero help from the Republican Party, right? Like none. Afterwards they said, "Oh man, you're a great candidate," and all this stuff, but they expect you to come in and know what to do, right? Like you said, capturing the lightning in the bottle, but then you miss your opportunities, right? And I can just speak to what goes on in Maryland, right? And I see the GOP here. I see the city's GOP. One is disorganized. People don't know what to do, where things go. Two, it is a club, a good old boys club or whatever. They got their favorites. If you're not in, you're out. And like someone in the chat said, there is no ground game. Like, so the messaging and the things that should be going on a regular basis are not being done, right? There should be constant messaging, constant outreach. They always wait till election time to then scramble for candidates, and then they don't have anybody to run for these seats. But you should be messaging the entire time, and there's really none of that in places like Baltimore, and the 95 corridor in Maryland. So it's it is weak in the sense of there's no ongoing effort.
Well,
So now,
Isaiah, look at the last governor's race in New York. Lee Zeldin was able to beat Kathy Hochul. He was a candidate that had her. He had her up against the ropes. She was going down. She was fighting the battle from behind in the 9th round. He could have beaten her. He had no GOP help, though. Trump didn't endorse him until the very last minute. But she was on the ropes, and Lee Zeldin had to fight Kathy Hochul and the Democrat machine, and he lost by the narrowest of margins.
Yep, less than 5%.
Listen, he had her bleeding. What's that expression? You make the champ bleed. So, I mean, he had her beaten. If he had gotten the GOP firmly behind him, we'd be talking about Governor Zeldin right now. But they didn't. They didn't. Like I said, they made no attempt to try to make inroads, and it's the biggest shame out there. It really is.
Well, the same thing happened with Kim Klacik. I'm sorry.
Hold on. Because Pete, I wanted to bring you in on this question. This was the question I was asking you, because we've talked about how the national Republican Party and even the local Republican Party is infamous for not helping local candidates. But I know, but what I wanted to ask you in this case was, how are things different with you? And two, why are they different?
So I came in completely self-funded when I started my show. My show was $550 a week. I had one sponsor who paid for one show a month. I paid that bill every week for 3 years. Now, with me having this show with this very niche audience, the GOP, some people in the GOP were upset because I was talking directly to Black people. As the congressman said, I was talking to Black people in a way, saying something to Black people that they've never heard in a way that they've never heard it. And so I didn't get booed off the air. People were not calling me an Uncle Tom. They were not calling me a coon. I didn't go through that. Now, at first, people were a little upset when I was talking about Trump. But beyond that, they were like, this girl love us and we love her too. So we can, whatever she say about that Republican stuff, that's okay. We're going to chew the meat and spit out the bone. Because what people also know is that if you got some words for me, this mouth got some words for you, okay? The Lord blessed me with the gift of communication, and sometimes I have to use it to defend myself. But because I came in self-funded, I never aligned with what they were pushing. There are a lot of people who are anti-Trump or never Trumpers. And here I am, the biggest Trump fan ever. So that pissed them off. You had people who were upset with me because I came from the Democratic Party. Oh, she just a rhino. She just a Democrat plant. If I was a Democrat plant, I would just be a Democrat. You understand me? If I was a Democrat, how good I would be living in the city of Chicago right now. I would be like up here, okay? Because again, I was raised in this. However, the issue, and because I'm always about granting people grace. The issue that the Republican Party has is twofold. One, we have a lot of people who come to Black people who only want to tell Black people what's wrong with them. Nobody wants to hear their secrets to their faces. We know. We don't need Republicans to come and tell us, oh, the kids can't read, oh, the household, the family structures are not together. We know. Every day we put our feet on the ground and start another day and walk out these doors on these Chicago sidewalks. We know. But the GOP will come and recite our problems, but do not give us any solutions. Okay, that's the first one. But then beyond that, we have a lot of grifters in the GOP on the Black end, okay? Grifters who are doing any and everything for attention rather than pushing policies to help our people move along. So that too turns the people off because they're like, you only here to make $1 off of us. You don't care about us for real. You want to come, expose everything that's wrong. And now that everybody knows, now what? So if we really want to make inroads in the Black community, we have to be hyper solution driven because the people are already apathetic to the system that's failing them.
That's correct. That wow. I mean, and like I said, like I was expressing earlier, like it's what's frustrating to me is that Democrats have never been. I used to be a Democrat myself. Democrats have never been as beatable as they are now. The further left they go, the further they drift away from first principles, the further they dip into socialism, the further they attach themselves to that putrid ideology. Okay. The further away they are literally pushing Black people out of the party. They don't want to hear that. And a lot of, pro-Democrat Blacks, shout to Sonny Johnson who coined that phrase, a lot of pro-Democrat Blacks don't want to hear that.
Correct.
So go ahead.
But what we have to understand, and this is what I shared with my audience, which really, again, ingratiated me to them. Even though I had the blackest right-wing show in America. My show was so good that Tucker Carlson used to steal my show. So I would come on Sunday night. My Sunday night show would be his Monday show on Fox for months. Okay, I'm like, and I'm prominently displayed in the Art of the Steal, so he knows exactly who I am. I digress. So what made me really stand out is because I always told them, I'm not here to tell you what's wrong about you. I'm here to tell you what's right about you. We are as American as sweet potato pie, not apple pie, sweet potato pie, because it's our country and it's what we eat in our country. We've been here for a long time paying taxes and eating cornbread, okay? So when we talk about American issues, people want to other us and they want to lump us in the minority bucket, which then lumps us into the immigrant class, and then our issues are not properly heard.
Exactly.
So when we come to the GOP, the party of our ancestors that was created to specifically address issues that Negroes were having, okay? Not African Americans, that includes people like Barack and Kamala, but I'm talking about the children of the cotton pickers, the rice farmers, the tobacco farmers, okay? Us. When we can talk about us, and that makes some people mad because then they're like, oh, you're trying to make this racial, but we're an ethnicity in America. We got our own issues, problems, pride, song for our country. And if we come to this political party and we're telling you these are the harms that we have suffered from the party of the Confederacy that were specifically pushed on us, we don't need these people to tell us to make our issues an all lives matter issue. No, we got real stuff that only happened to us. The crack epidemic happened to us. This open border that brought all this heroin up here, that happened to us, Black folks on the west side of Chicago. And what I share with my white GOP people who live further outside the city is that our boys sell heroin and your boys use heroin. And then we got dead kids and crying mamas on both sides. So when I'm talking about this drug trafficking, don't just think it's just an issue for kids in the ghetto up there in Chicago, because your kids are catching the train up here, getting high and dying on the train, on the sidewalks, just like our boys are getting shot on the sidewalks. So this has to be an America first issue, and we have to remind our friends in the GOP that the issues of the Negro are American issues, not racial issues. Look at us as an ethnicity and not a race. And I think that we will be able to advance ourselves better in this party.
That makes so much sense. And I'm gonna tell you, because if there's one thing that has bugged the hell out of me over the last several years, and Zeke, you can attest to this, it is this intentional dumping of blacks by both parties, clearly, but I want to talk about the Democrats in particular, because the Democrats are the party of the Confederacy. They are the party of slavery. Okay, I think Rob just pulled up some great stuff for us to take a look at. But what kills me is how they lump, as soon as we come in, I'm gonna give reparations. I mean, the whole topic of reparations. Let me use this as an example. Democrats love to bait black folk into voting for them endlessly about reparations. They love to throw that around. They love tossing that around like that's a big draw. You know, black folk getting something for free. You know, black folk getting something that was owed to us, you know, from slavery, right? They love throwing that around. And then and they'll do committees, they'll do all sorts of stuff. And then the second it looks like, because Gavin Newsom did this, and just recently Wes Moore did this, where they get people hopped up on talking about, yeah, we're going to get you all these reparations. We're going to do all this for you. And then as soon as they get right up to the edge, they're like, you know what? It's too expensive. It's too expensive. We can't do it. You know, sorry, we'll have to address it at another time. But meanwhile, they've gotten the vote from us on like what, 3-4 times already.
Yep.
It's crazy. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, HR 40 has been languishing in committee since 1989. Okay, that's what, 36 years. But for me,
when John Conyers wrote that.
Yes, I'm an America First candidate. And so there are a couple of things I'm about to say, and I'm sure Black Twitter is going to cut this up and play it and try to be mean to me. But I believe that the issue that the Negro has in America is due to the fallout of Jim Crow and not slavery. Okay, Jim Crow was a state-sponsored domestic terrorism campaign against the Negro, and it took an act of Congress to make them stop. Therefore, we have to be treated as victims of state-sponsored domestic terrorism. And the United States has a fund called the Victims of State-Sponsored Terrorism Fund. In that fund, they pay the victims and their heirs if you are a victim. So like the Saudis are paying, the Iranians are paying. If you look at the fund, you'll see it. And it's gonna be paying the people out until 2053. I believe that we can do something similar for Jim Crow, because when you talk about Jim Crow, and I spoke about this on Fox Business, okay, I was shocked that they wanted to talk to me about reparations. And I told them, if anything, we need Jim Crow repair. My mother is a Jim Crow survivor. Anybody that has Negro printed on their birth certificate is a Jim Crow survivor, and therefore we have to repair that. And they were like, hey, P-Ray, that's a good point. We never thought about it like that. And then Ben Shapiro went on the Breakfast Club and repeated what I said verbatim. And I'm like, wow, this is catching on. So that's how we have that conversation. It has to be an America First conversation that does not make the other people feel some type of guilt, because they're right. We fought a war against slavery. Shout out to the Union Army. Shout out to the Republican Party for getting my people out of that jam in Mississippi. Thank y'all so much. But when it was over with, the Confederates rebranded themselves as progressives, right? The progressive era was the most dangerous era for the Negro in this country, them and their guerrilla warfare arm called the Ku Klux Klan. And they literally used state, municipal, and federal laws to terrorize us in the country of our ancestors. That has to be talked about because the U.S. government, that's why we got Milosevic in Bosnia, right? That's why we got Saddam Hussein. That's why we got Libyan Gaddafi. All of this was about them terrorizing their own citizens. And we used the U.S. government, our military, and our tax dollars to put it into it. So if we can do that for the foreigners, we can do that for fellow Americans. And that's not a hard sell, but you have to be America first and understand history in order to have that conversation. And on our side, unfortunately, there are too many undereducated people talking too loud, and then it messes up any progress that we can get done through the party.
Would we have to eliminate the Democrat Party for that, though? Because at this point, isn't that the continuation of that domestic terrorism organization?
Correct. Yeah, it's the party of the Confederacy. We have to push that. Their guerrilla warfare arm is called the Ku Klux Klan, and now it's Antifa. The Klan walks so Antifa could run. We got to tie that together because our people don't know that. But the more we promote it, we can make people stop caring about the Democratic Party. When I'm telling people out here, it's vote red instead because the Democratic Party is dead. Hey, my girl, okay, we can say that, push that to the people. We don't know as Republicans, we can come and we can say, okay, the Democrats are bad. Black people, you have this, and this wrong with you. But if you are not giving people something to feed into that and give them hope to get out of that situation, they're just gonna stay apathetic where they are and continue to find comfort in their chaos. We have to let them know that the emperor does not have on any clothes.
Zeek, amen. Zeek, I want to get you in here one because I know you got to get ready. You got to bounce in a little bit, but what would you like to add to this, brother?
The only thing I'm going to say about that is if we're going to have reparations for Jim Crow, which was definitely state sponsored, you see a lot of LBJ's policies, and they definitely helped to push along Jim Crow. You see the policies before that. You see Martin Luther King Jr. with the Montgomery bus ride. He definitely helped to push along a lot of that. I'm just going to say if the Democrats would agree to pay reparations because it's going to come from them, then I heavily agree. The only thing I've also said this about a lot of black folk, you keep hitching your cart to the Democrat Party. You keep hitching yourself to the Democrats to say, this is the party that actually cares about me. This is the party that's going to represent me. Well, guess what? Where are they with your so-called reparation money that they've had about 10 times over? They gave $9 billion to Somalians for their little schemes with the learning centers. Excuse me, the luring centers.
The Leering Center.
The luring centers, yes. They gave $9 billion to Somalians who don't even consider themselves black. If you talk to any Somalian, the last thing they're going to say is, yes, I'm a black person, unless it helps out their cause, unless it helps them out. But they gave $9 billion to these people. You mean to tell me that $9 billion couldn't have gone towards a black neighborhood or a black business? It couldn't have gone to Chicago. It couldn't have gone to different places in the country, Atlanta. It couldn't have gone to black businesses in New York. No, they gave $9 billion to Somalians so that Tim Walz could get elected. They gave all this money, these hundreds of millions of dollars to illegals, to house them, to put them in hotels, to give them cell phones, to feed them, to transport them throughout the country. They gave illegals money before they gave black folks money. So you keep falling for the same song and dance. They keep lying to you and looking in your face and smiling at you, and you keep falling for it. It's not the first, second, or third time they've done this. They do it over and over and over and over again.
Over and over again.
It's almost like going back to an abusive ex. He keeps smacking you around, and you keep thinking that this is going to be the time when he's going to be okay. No, it's not. He's just going to smack you around all over again. And then when you have, my grandmother always said, look at people's actions. What they say to you when they're not thinking and how they act around you is how they really feel about you. When the camera's on them, when they're smiling in your face, they're not going to tell you exactly what they think about you. Kathy Hochul went in front of a black church and said, don't spend your stimulus money on liquor. And didn't even think to bat an eye about that.
Didn't even.
She also went
on a
podcast. Yeah, she was one of the podcasts that said that black children in Bronx don't know the word computer in the year, I think this was last year,
That was
2025.
2024. It was 2024.
2024. So they're telling you exactly what they think about you. Joe Biden, you need a whole podcast just on the many and various things he
Jim
said.
Crow Joe. That's what we
Jim
call
Crow
him. Jim
Joe.
Crow Joe.
Yep.
You know, Gavin Newsom said, "Hey, listen, I'm just like you. I can't read. I only got a 900 on my SAT scores." And,
Right.
And you know, people say, "Well, you know, he was speaking to a diverse crowd." No, but he looked directly at the host and said that. And
Right.
This was a black sponsored event. This was an event for the black governor, I think, and the black mayor or some. Basically, it was a black sponsored event, so he knew exactly who he was talking to. You can play dumb all you want. We know exactly what he meant by that. If Trump had said that in the exact same setting, you guys would be marching in the streets talking about how racist he is. If anything, Trump has always said the opposite. There's an interview from 1989 where Trump said black folks who are highly educated have so much of an advantage, and he's done nothing but boost black folks, and you still call him racist. Yet these people over on the Democrat side are sitting there laughing and playing in your face, directly in your face. Mamdani excludes black folks from his plans that he's got, and he smiles in your face and he says, "Oh, you know, I'm so sorry," and you line up to kiss this man's behind. Same thing with the Democrat Party. You line up to kiss up to them, and they're laughing and playing in your face and giving money that they said they were going to give you to everyone but you. So that's just my little rant as far as black folks, the Democrat Party,
But that's
and
what
why
they
should
do.
be doing things differently.
But that's what they've been doing. Again, Frederick Douglass was talking about this in the 1850s.
Yep.
This is who they are. This is pattern behavior. They've always used immigrant populations to disadvantage Negroes in this country. And I keep saying Negroes because that is a very specific group of people. When I say Black Americans, African Americans, you may think I'm talking about Barack and them, and I am not. I'm talking about us. And this is what they have always done. They will dangle a carrot in front of our faces and then tell us what they're going to give us. But then when it comes time for them to give us whatever they said, then it becomes a minority gift. And then the Negro benefits the least, which is why I'm so excited that DEI is gone. I'm elated that affirmative action is gone because the Negro benefited the least. Immigrants, white women, and gay white men got to feast off of our trauma. We can't have that anymore. But that's what the Democrats do. And that's what we got to explain to our people without saying, you stuck with them. You know they not good. You want to be, no. We're going to say, hey, check it out, baby. Look around. To the left, to the right, look up, look down. This what the Democrats got for you. This all you think you deserve? This all you want? Oh, I know you want better than this because you know our people didn't come up here. We could have stayed in Mississippi if we were going to live like this. But your people stood on their feet in these factories to buy us these buildings, and the Democrats are trying to take them away from them. And you're not even going to fight back? You don't even want to pinch them? Okay, then you stay where you at. The rest of us are leaving. They'll say, wait, where you going? Because I'm tired of this too. You gotta, what I always say is, instead of telling people what's wrong about them, you got to tell people what's right about them. I'll give you an example. I don't know if you've ever been to somebody's house that got roaches, but I have. Okay, I don't like roaches, but people live with them. And so you can be in somebody's house and you can see a roach crawl right across the TV, right? We've all seen that before. Now, two things could happen. You could go, let me shake my coat out before I go because I don't want to take your pets home with me. Or
that's
you
a healthy
say,
response, by the way.
or you can say, no, for real, straight up. Or you can say, girl, I like these curtains. Where you get this rug from? Okay, I see what you're trying to do around here. Guess what? If you tell her what's right about it, she gonna clean up when you leave. She's going to clean up. She's going to put bleach on the baseboard. She's going to do everything because you have given value to a space that you know they're not taken care of, which is why I am so big on self-esteem and patriotic esteem. I keep telling our people, we are African, that came a long time ago, but your ancestors that you know are buried deep bone and flesh in this land. And therefore, this is your country. This is your flag. This is what you deserve. You deserve better than this. Then they feel empowered, and then they will move. So if you want Black folks to get off of this Democrat chaos, you gotta give them patriotic esteem and show them something better on the other side. That's what's working for me.
Just let you know, though, I'm gonna still shake my jacket out when I get to the car, though.
Oh heck yeah!
When I get to the car,
boom,
I'm gonna shake it out. Not in the house, but when I get to the car, that jacket,
Yeah, I don't want your roaches in my car.
Exactly.
Isaiah, thank you so much for having me, brother. But I do gotta run.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Zeek. Appreciate it.
Time you come
Appreciate
on,
you all. Thank you.
The next time I have you on, we're gonna talk about Zohran, brother. We got to.
I'm gonna shoot you my number, man. We'll talk.
All right, brother. Let him.
All right. Zeek.
Yeah, man. The big man Zeek Arkham checking out. But listen, make sure you check him out, ladies and gentlemen, at Zeek Arkham. That brother is one of my favorite follows on X. For those, he's incredible. Like you can't hear me? Oh wait,
I can hear you, bro.
No,
I can hear you.
The
P-Ray can't hear you. Yeah.
Oh, I can't. No, she can't hear me. Yeah, she got to jump out.
I think she's she coming right back, or she done?
Yeah, she's coming back. She said she's coming back. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. But no, like this is what I actually wrote something about this earlier today. It's so crazy that we're talking about this stuff, right? Because I've been going back and forth with. Like, I was wondering whether or not to even do a rant earlier. We were talking about this, Nino, but I think this actually fits because. Hold on, I'm trying to because I got to scroll all the way down to find it. It was a rant because somebody had talked about. Here we go. I'm going to share it right now. I'm going to share this tab. Here we go. So this guy, whatever, said Democrats in New York City. Oh, that's what it was in response to. Because this is what I wanted to talk about right here. Tremel Thompson. This will give you a bit of context as to why I said this. Okay, this man brought the hammer when it comes to now. Tremel Thompson, shout to him. He's a former guest of ours here on Apostate Radio. This brother is the vice president of TWU Local 100, New York City Transit's labor union. And I want y'all to watch this. I think this is you're going to find this to be very, very informative as to what is happening right now in New York. Okay. And then my response to it.
Mamdani must be stopped because he thinks owning a home for $750,000 make you rich now. Yeah, you heard right. Because under his new tax proposal floating around City Hall, owning a $750,000 home now puts you in category. Can somebody please show me where these $750,000 mansions are in New York City? Because last time I checked, trying to find a decent house in a decent neighborhood for $750,000 is already on the cheap side. But here's the part people need to understand. Right now, families could pass down about $7 million before the estate tax kicks in. Mamdani's proposal would drop that to $750,000. That's a 90% cut. And the estate tax rate, it could jump from 16 to 50%. But the slogan we keep hearing is tax the rich. Let's talk reality in New York City. $50,000 home isn't rich. This is a working class house. That's a house someone spent 30 years paying the mortgage on. And when that homeowner passes away, their kids may have to sell a house just to pay the tax bill. That's not targeting billionaires. That's targeting generational wealth. Because for most families in New York City, their home is their only real wealth. And when policies make that harder to pass that down, that's how the middle class disappears. But wait, it gets better. There's talks about also raising property taxes nearly 10%, around the 9.5% increase. So now let's connect the dots. Higher property taxes, a death tax hitting homes at $750,000, and estate taxes jumping to 50%. But remember, they keep saying tax the rich. Meanwhile, the people who actually get hit are working class homeowners, the people who work their whole lives just to buy one house in the city. And this is where the bigger picture comes in, because these ideas don't come out of nowhere. They come out of the ideology being pushed by groups like the Democratic Socialists of America. Yes, the DSA. And the DSA keeps saying they fighting for working people.
Survey said
That's a lie. But if your policies make it harder for people to own property and harder to pass that property to their children, then that's not pro-working class. That's anti-working class. Because when generational wealth disappears, the middle class disappears with it. And when the middle class disappears, who do you think is left owning everything? So now for $750,000 homeowner is now considered rich because apparently a transit worker with a house in Queens is now a Wall Street billionaire. A teacher in Staten Island is now apparently a part of the 1%. A NYPD officer who spent 25 years paying off a mortgage is suddenly rich. A firefighter who bought a house in Brooklyn in the 90s is now apparently living in luxury. And a sanitation worker who worked 30 years to finally own a home, well, congratulations. According to Mamdani, you're now part of the rich class too. Mamdani.
Wow.
Shout to the big man, Tramel Thompson. He is, I must say, like I've known him for several years. To hear him break that down as to this direct assault on the middle class in, like, here in New York. Well, they are in New York City. I want to kind of tie this in. I want to hear from you, P. How much are you seeing this in Chicago? Because we saw, we're hearing about like all the businesses that are getting, like that are just leaving in droves from Chicago. And so Brandon Johnson apparently is trying to recoup the tax money, the taxes that they're losing from the businesses. He's trying to recoup that from
the homeowners. Correct.
How is it? Talk to me about that. How is that happening?
So we had empty commercial corridors in the city. So if we go all the way back in history, during the King riots in the Lawndale area, they burned down 16th Street and Roosevelt Road. The elders have said that the people who own these buildings paid them to set them on fire so they can get the insurance money and then flee the community. So these corridors, Chicago's a wild town, honey. So these corridors have been empty since the 60s, some of them. However, we had the subprime crisis, and the subprime crisis resulted in them tearing down a substantial amount of commercial properties, mixed use commercial properties as well, because their goal was to reduce the housing stock. So they tore down these mixed use buildings as well, which gave us more vacant lots along the commercial corridors. Then we go downtown. We had Boeing left. We had the Citadel that left. Their CEO is a multi-billionaire. He himself was paying $120 million in taxes a year. His employees were paying a substantial amount of taxes. They're all gone to Florida. United Airlines left. Caterpillar left. Sears is gone. So all of these people or these entities that were downtown that were able to kind of cover the lack of commercial corridors in the communities, now we don't have that coming from downtown either. And so now that entire commercial levy is being pushed on the homeowners. Excuse me, I'm on the air. Okay, sorry guys. They just get
live radio. This is live streaming.
No, it's okay. We live. So with that being said, so my house burned up in the city of Chicago is not releasing my permits. So I live with my family in this insurance house. Shout out to the city. Release P. Ray's permit so she can go home. I digress even more. So we got the commercial corridors, but beyond that, remember we talked about them demolishing the houses. So the more vacant lots you have in your community, the higher your taxes have gone up because there are less entities or less parcels to split the tax levy amongst. So in our communities, we have vacant lots, non-for-profits, and churches. So who paying? The taxpayers. But then it's deeper than that because the building that I'm referring to, my house, my grandparents purchased it in 1972. And so my grandmother passed away in 2000. But before that, she had the senior tax exclusion. So after my mom passed, that's why I call my grandma Mama. After my mom passed, we lost that senior tax exclusion. So our monthly bill for the building went from $600 to $2,400.
Oh my God.
Yes, because that tax exclusion, we weren't paying, we had the senior rate. So something that I floated through the city council, because I'm always thinking policy instead of complaining, I told them that they need to have the legacy homeowner tax exemption. If you've been in your building for 30, 40 years, then you pay a certain tax rate in order to maintain community and maintain generational wealth. But they don't have that. So if we didn't have the money to absorb that tax increase, we would have lost our building for taxes too. So that's
but that was just taxes, right? You said it's like that's just the taxes, right?
That's the taxes. Yeah,
that's not mortgage,
not even water, sewage, garbage.
No mortgage, nothing like that. Just taxes.
Mm-hmm. Because again, the city, so we've lost population, but the city has not reduced the budget, and therefore we're still being taxed as if we're a full city. And we're still being taxed as if we still got corporations downtown and manufacturing. You see, and the government does not produce a product. So the only way for them to make money is through taxes and fees from the citizens. And that's what we're dealing with here.
Where is that narco money? Why can't they put that to city services?
Because it's being laundered in a different way.
Jeez. Yeah. So my response to that, to this, like, well, somebody had commented on this thing. And this is really the part that I wanted to get to. I said, because the guy was like, Democrats in New York City want to give this person here, Ron L, said Democrats in New York City want to give reparations to Black residents, a 50% death tax. How is that helping Black families that want to pass their wealth to their children with give with one hand, take back with two? And this is what I said. I said, I am slowly starting to realize that the Audre Lorde quote about not being able to dismantle the master's house with the master's tools was nothing more than typical communist projection. Think about it for a second. Reparations, what we were talking about earlier, are something Democrats have been waving over Black people's heads for the last, 30, 40 years or so, even longer, right? Black Democrat politicians have sold out entire constituencies on the possibility of reparations coming to them, suckering inwards every day with the promise they'll use their power in government to finally getting Blacks the land and monies owed to their ancestors. Got farm equipment like Ta-Nehisi Coates writing 36,000-word featured dissertations in the Atlantic, allegedly making the case for reparations, which turned out to be a long-winded generative theme for a national conversation on race that white leftists love to engage in. And every time Blacks think we're about to get what's owed, Democrat governors snatch it off the table going, nah, it's too expensive at this time. Sucker shit. And we are the suckers. Why would Democrats actually pay the descendants of slaves they advocated for trafficking throughout the antebellum South? Especially now that 3/4 of Black families are single parent and our women lead the pack in Margaret Sanger's abortion mills. I think those are fair questions. What do you like? I mean, what do y'all think of that?
So let's get a couple things straight, because I hate when people say the Democrats pulled Black fathers out of the houses. The fact that the Chicago Housing Authority told my family in 1965 when they lived in Rockwell Gardens projects that 2 grown people can't live here. You know what my grandma and my granddaddy did? Moved. They moved. They got up out of there. They moved from the projects to North Lawndale, from North Lawndale to Austin, and I live in the house now. There are no videos or pictures of Black men being drugged out the house, holding on to the baseboards and the doors by the U.S. government. The choice to abdicate taking care of your family to the U.S. government is a personal choice. On my block, we had all type of granddaddies from corner to corner. Every man in that building stayed with his family in order to purchase that property, and a lot of my people still live there. So I just want to get that clear because I'm so sick and tired of people saying the Democrats pull these people out. No, people left their houses, okay? They came up here with Essie Made Country and met Renee in the projects. They went for that fast woman and left that slow one. Okay, we saw the movie Claudine. Okay, everybody's seen Claudine. We know that that's a real story. However, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It has Diane Carroll and what's that man's name? James Earl Jones, and it's really good. And Gladys Knight did the soundtrack. It's amazing. I digress even more. My point is that first off, again, we want to focus on Jim Crow. If you focus on slavery, for me, I think slavery is too expansive, because if we say that we're going to give reparations for slavery, then we have to give reparations to the Negroes who left America and moved to Liberia, right? Because their people were slaves too. We got to give reparations to the ones up in Nova Scotia. We got to give them reparations to people who moved to Sierra Leone, like Idris Elba. His grandfather is a Black man from Kansas City. And they went to Sierra Leone. Yeah, yes. And when reparation checks get cut, Idris gonna get one. And that's my point. So you got people like them who left, and they would be eligible for slavery reparations, which is why we want Jim Crow repair, and we can base that on the 1930 census. Simple, right? And so everybody who was gonna leave had already left. And when the really crazy stuff started happening post-World War I, going into World War II, that's the group that we can really repair, because that's when the most damage occurred. So anyway, that's my thought on it. But we can't depend on the Democrats to do it because they don't like us. Democrats don't like Black people. They've been telling us this consistently since the 1800s. Why are people being fooled? Because of money, friends. Money and yard sign money. That's what they're lying to us for every single day. Every politician here is saying, if you get me in office, I'm going to fight Trump. Okay? So let's say you fight him and you win. Then what we get? Nothing. It's only for your ego. It's only to feed your base. We don't want to fight anymore. I told Brandon Johnson, stop fighting the president. We need stuff here. And your beef ain't my West Side business. So call that man and do what you got to do. You see what I'm saying? So we gotta be clear with the messaging, but just know that we have to make it a pro-America conversation, because Jim Crow was egregious. Again, we should have killed all those Confederates after the Civil War. That's our issue. We mismanaged the ends of the Civil War, and we're still dealing with it in the form of the Confederacy through the Democratic Party. And we gotta let people know this is who they are so that they will die out.
That is brilliant. Wow. P, last question.
Wait, I have a question too, Isaiah, real quick, for P. Ray. We've been seeing stuff. I know Isaiah has, and I've been seeing stuff in Chicago over the past couple of years, at least, of like Black people kind of waking up and rejecting Democrats, right? We've seen a lot of viral videos of that. And that's just a couple videos, handful of videos. How much are you seeing that on your own? Are you seeing, is there actually like?
I started this. I'm the founder and chair of Chicago Red Political Action Committee. All of this came out on Black Excellence Hour, a show for people with high self-esteem. Every show, I started with the quote of President Trump saying, "Black people, you built this country. This is yours." And I call it a dose of self-esteem. Okay, I'm like, we're going to get a dose of self-esteem from the greatest president to ever do it, Donald John Trump Sr. So I planted the seed to let Black people know that this is not okay. So then these other people came in because I have a political action committee. They wanted to monetize my movement. So they broke off, founded a group with a similar name, but they're an LLC. So
what's the name of the group again?
Chicago Flips Red LLC.
Wow.
That's an LLC, not a political action committee. They're not a political organization. The goal of an LLC is to make money. And that's what I'll say about that. However, on a more practical level, on the ground, the people are more receptive because now they can see that they really don't care about us. Again, the migrants got all this money, and CHA has been sitting on $1.8 billion for 26 years. While Black people are sleeping outside, right now it's raining outside in Chicago. There are Black Americans, not just Black folks, Americans sleeping on sidewalks, and migrants are sitting up toasty in apartments that our people have been waiting on for 2 decades.
Jeez.
So are you seeing like a substantial percentage of Black people or Black Americans in your community or in Chicago area that are like really, we're like, are you seeing numbers like people signing up, registration?
Yeah.
Or just something grassroots, like something significant?
Yes, we've registered tons of people. I hosted 2 Trump rallies here in Black Chicago. I'm talking about Trump rallies, Trump flags, big Trump, drummers, everything. People walked up like, whoa, I didn't even know we could do stuff like this. I said, who gonna whoop us? What they gonna tell us, pick a switch? Nobody can make us stop. We do what we want to do. If we don't want to be with these people anymore, we don't got to be with them. But people tell me, P. Ray, I can support you in the general, but not in the primary, because in the primary, you have to declare a party. And they don't want to be written down as Republicans because there is direct backlash from the machine if you do that. So we have to quietly defeat the machine so that people don't get their social services cut off.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So the last question, because I don't know, what is your, well, the term is, what's your hard out? Like what time do you have to go?
My ride's pulling up. I got to drive to Indiana to catch a show before 10 o'clock. So yes.
Okay. So you know what? So I'm gonna table my.
Go ahead. Ask me really quick.
You sure? Okay. Information about Tuesday's vote. If you please let for the benefit of our audience, please let us know what's going on.
Okay, so Tuesday is the election, the primary election here in this great city of Chicago, the 7th Congressional District. If you are here, if Danny Davis is your current congressman, I need you to go to the polls and ask for a Republican ballot. Just look them straight in the eye and say, I want to vote Republican, and they're going to give you that ballot. I am number 32 on the ballot. We are telling our people, vote red instead. The Democratic Party is dead. Get with the program. If you have a birth certificate, a social security number, anything that makes.
Oh no. Oh man.
Her ride was calling her.
A ride must have called her.
She got out most of the, I think, most useful information though for that. I think.
Yeah, I think so too. But is she coming back? I'm trying to see if she's coming back.
Yeah, she got to finish her speech, man.
Yeah,
she was on a roll.
We got to. Nah, man. Like, listen. Like, this is a very. Here she is. There she is.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I'm gonna wrap this up really quickly. Vote red instead. PRayForCongress.com. PRay, FOR, Congress.com. Go and support me. We are doing this like with bones, guys. Chicago Red never raised more than $11,000. We took 250,000 votes from the Democrats between 2000 and 2004 with a bullhorn and some courage. Help get me to Congress, and I promise you, the things that we've been complaining about my whole life, I'm gonna go get solutions for them because I've been thinking about these solutions my entire life. I have a relationship with the president. I am going to go shake a hand, make a friend, scoop up what I can, just like the Mario bonus round before the music stops, so that we can do more than trauma bond and we can thrive in the country of our ancestors. Vote red.
Girl, you know what, ma'am? I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for coming on with us. You are welcome at any time you want to come back, and I mean that. And I'm gonna give matter of fact, I'll do this right now. Shout to Latina Brown, who introduced us. I want to make sure that Latina gets all of the credit publicly right here now. P. Ray, I love you, lady. Thank you so much for joining us. Y'all, listen. Good luck on Tuesday. We are rooting for you here. We're looking forward to hearing some good news.
Thank you. Pray for me. Amen.
We will do. Lord, please.
Good luck, P. Ray.
Lady,
you got our support.
Let's bring home a victory in Jesus' name.
Amen.
There we go.
Amen.
Yo, incredible. Incredible. I like.
Now, do you think they'll think that we can vote for her? I mean, Chicago.
I'm going. I'm flying to Chicago, man.
You don't need to fly. Oh, you don't need to waste no gas.
I can do absentee ballot.
Absentee. I don't know. You can write it in. You probably text your vote in nowadays.
That'd be a great idea.
I'll tell them I'm an illegal immigrant. They'll let me vote. I like to vote for the P-Ray. I like to vote for the P-Ray, my favorite.
Wow.
Oh my God.
You know, if it ain't illegal, it's appropriate, right? So
Exactly. Oh my God, bro.
Everybody get your mail-in ballots and go vote for P-Ray.
Yes, please. She needs all. Yes, I want to. Like I'm telling you, that lady is something else. I hope and pray she wins her primary on Tuesday. What you got to show us, brother? It looks like you were working on something.
Oh man, you haven't seen this?
I'll bring it up.
No, I mean you gotta show it, man. I can't put it on stage.
Oh, hold on. I'll bring. All right, let's try it now. Okay. Whoa.
Yeah, this is the Democrat Party, man.
How much money he owe him?
Damn.
So this is the old voting booth. There was a cartoon in Harper's Weekly back in the day. You can see here. Of course, he wants to vote the Democrat ticket. Democrats reinforce. You are free as air, aren't you? Ain't you?
Wait. Bring it up a little bit more. No. Go back down.
Oh, this right here.
Yeah.
Democratic reformer. You as free as air, ain't you? Say you are. I'll blow your black head off.
Jesus.
Ooh. No, you have to say it. You got to say it with the accent.
Yeah. The Negroes of the South are free as air, says the parliamentarian, Watterson. This is what the state, is a well-known Democratic organ of Tennessee, says in a huge in huge capitals on the subject. Let it be known before the election that the farmers have agreed to spot every leading radical Negro in the county and treat him as an enemy for all time to come. The rotten ring must and shall be broken at any and all costs.
Oh,
the Democrats have determined to withdraw all employment from their enemies. Let this fact be known.
Oh,
this is the way Democrats have been getting people to vote for the longest time. Getting blacks to vote Democrat for the longest time.
Then, I mean, we heard what P. Ray just said about the machine. I wanted to ask her, but she had to leave. But what she said, like, if you vote Republican, the machine comes after you. What is it? I'm not sure what she meant by that, like what the actual consequences were. But it looks like something similar to what we're seeing here. Maybe not a gun to your head, but maybe some jobs
This sounds. You know what this sounds like to me? This sounds like how all of these Democrats are getting down, talking about when we get back in power, we gonna do this to you, we're gonna do that to you. This sound like fucking what's her name, Susan Rice. Matter of fact, yeah. I think I have her on here. Tell me if this sounds very, very familiar. When she get the when matter of fact, I won't play it because it's a 3-minute clip. But whenever I hear Democrats talking about it's retribution, when they're like, well, when we get back into power, we're gonna punish all these businesses. It's not gonna be business as usual. We're talking about we're gonna put our political enemies in jail. We're gonna prosecute people. I've seen people literally openly wishing death on people who voted for Donald Trump.
Yeah, you think? Listen, man, wishing death on someone that doesn't come easily, right? That's not an idea that you have. Oh man, I wish they would die. Like that's not something that you can fathom just easily, right? You have to be conditioned over time to get there, to even say that, to even think that. Just because I disagree with you or because you voted for the wrong person, I wish death on you. Like that's so, the point I'm making is that this conditioning has been happening for a long time, right? The acceptance of that as free speech or public speech you didn't, for us as a society to even allow that, as a community, as a neighborhood, for this type of speech to happen, the conditioning has been happening for a long time. I think this image really shows that, this, and it's the playbook of the Democrat Party. It's always been.
I have never seen, like, I'm gonna be honest, I never understood any of this when I was a Democrat. I used to, I was in this, okay, but now that I have seen the ties, the communism that has always been a part of the Democrat Party, it actually legit scares me.
Yeah,
because this is, it was just like what P. Ray was saying earlier. They've been pushing, the Democrat Party have been pushing, like, the further left this entity goes is the further in which they want to, like, they're pushing black folk away from the party, but yet they're trying to drag us along with them. Okay, like, there is a reason, ladies and gentlemen, why all of these No Kings rallies that you might have seen in places like New York City or Baltimore or New Rochelle, there's a reason why them protests are always white. I say it all the time on my feed. Whenever I see one of these things, it looks about white. The commie protests on here, that you see on college campuses throughout the street, it's either white folks or the illegal or the illegals who are out here waving the flags that they come from, demanding to be let in. It's like, I hate this dichotomy that's at work here. I hate this dichotomy. I do. Like, I hate the fact that the Democrat Party has held, it's like honestly, it's as if our fate for far too long has been based on whatever the Democrat Party decides. And I'm glad that we, as black men, you and I, Logic, that we broke away from this. But even Hispanic brothers like Nino here, we got away from that shit, man. I mean, but you know what? Since I do want to ask you this, Nino. What, like, in your circles, what was it like for you to walk away from this, with your background and all of the stuff that you've been involved in? Because you've got quite a background. What was it like for you to walk away from this?
I mean, it depends on if people agree with me now, I guess. I mean, I think there's plenty of people who kind of seen, like, we're really discussable wokeness, I think, from like 2014, 15, 16 and then on, the gender stuff, the kind of the over the top anti-racist, like hatred towards white people in America, and the over the top feminism stuff. So I had plenty of friends that kind of agreed with me with that, and some family. I have actually a lot of conservative family that I grew up disagreeing with most of the time, because I was a longtime Democrat and progressive, at least, even. But I was never woke, ever. I was never ever woke. I was always against racism and stuff, but I was never and overt sexism and stuff like that. But I always thought that went too far when I was like high school and college. It was getting kind of stupid. Like, they're blaming, I remember even blaming like rap video girls on like sexism and I remember they came to my high school, and like some feminist white girl came in and talked to my English class, and it was a junior, and they said, and I went to like a school with like 60-70% black people, and the rest were like Latino. Yeah, and like there's like literally 5 white people in the whole school, really, and like northern European white people. I'll say that there was like a bunch of Portuguese people, but they're technically white people too, I guess. But anyways, I remember being in this class, and this girl was like talking about they're objectifying women and rap videos, and it's very it's sexist and stuff. And I had to I was just sitting there listening. I'm like, look, and I'm not saying it's good to be doing that stuff, but I said, wait, who the hell is controlling these people, these women to do these? They're grown women.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you acting like it's like somebody putting a gun to their head? Like they're making money. They're trying to make opportunities to be, you know, video girls and maybe a model, a career actress, whatever. Maybe they're trying to meet a rapper, whatever, you know, all that shit that goes along with it. You know, is it always the best thing to be doing? I don't know, you know, whatever. But the point is, it's like they have agency.
Yep.
You know, they have agency. They have, you know, they're not children. They're not, you know, they're not being like, I think they're being pimped out or something like that. They're not being held against their will. So why, like, you know, I understand why we were treating grown women like that. And like, she didn't really know what to say. And then like the whole class was like, yeah, man, like, you know, like nobody's forcing her to do this. And like, you know, I told her, I was like, yo, I would, if I could be in like a freaking swimsuit or whatever and get paid money and get famous for it, like, just like, you know, I'd probably do it too.
Yep.
You know, that's all I had to do. You know,
you mean
whatever.
you couldn't get that job?
Yeah, maybe back then. But yeah, no. And if anything, I thought that was no. But to your point, if anything, I thought that was a bit of a privilege. Yeah. You know, if you're an attractive woman, like, you know, if you and then you're suddenly J-Lo, right, or something like that. Like J-Lo started off as a backup dancer, A Living Color, if I remember. Then she had some acting roles, and now she's, you know, one of the most famous, powerful women in the show business, right? Richest woman. Anyway, so I was already anti-woke from the get-go. I was just like, this doesn't make any sense. This is stupid. Like, there's things to complain about and things that we can do and fix, but this ain't it. You know what I mean? And then it got
were you an outsider, like, naturally though? Like, were you just kind of like an outsider in general?
Yeah, I was. I think so. I was always fairly independent-minded and whatever. But, you know, you get caught up. Everybody gets caught up in things. And you know, again, I was Democrat. I was a Democrat, progressive for, like, you know, almost a whole life. I was kind of left-leaning, listening to George Carlin and stuff like that. Kind of had that point of view. And so, you know, you get swept up by certain things, and not everything they said, especially the more reasonable old school Democrats, was wrong. But I started to see that a lot of it was bullshit. And then when it got really woke and, you know, farther left and crazy and communist, you know, that was I started being outspoken about it. I certainly, people who were on the left, a lot of them didn't really want to mess with me anymore, or, you know, would argue with me, or, like, you know, leave comments and stuff like saying this or that. I have some family that disagree with me, and it kind of it can make your relationship a little bit difficult sometimes. You know, like they have their beliefs and they feel like they hate Trump so much or something like that, and they have to say something, or I have my things and I have to say something, and then we kind of start arguing a little bit. And it's like, I wish it wasn't like that, you know? And then, but it's so much worse because it's so siloed, right? Like, the information, they have no idea the stuff that I've seen. And I do have an idea of the stuff that they've seen, because I do watch CNN, I do watch MSNBC. You know, you're inundated with left leaning stuff. Like, you have to see it. New York Times, almost all the news, almost all Hollywood stuff. You know, you have to see this stuff if you live in America, pretty much. But you don't see the bad news about the Democrats so much, unless you seek it out, unless you watch Fox News, or you will have certain influencers that you watch, certain podcasts. So a lot of people do not see, especially boomers, or far left people, they do not see anything bad about them. And in fact, they've been sometimes indoctrinated in school to think that that's the right thing, to like transing children.
Does this make you like question all of history though? Like, this is one of those things where I'm like, because I know, like, what's being presented nowadays is a lie, for you know, and then what happens is you have these headlines that come out, right? And then if there is a retraction, it's like buried later on. So when you think like 50 years from now, and you go back and read in the headlines, but don't know, like, 2 weeks later a retraction was issued, right? You get this kind of skewed perspective of what history is like. And I'm seeing that happen in real time right now. So it's like, doesn't it make you question literally everything?
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, there's, and that's a thing we've kind of known. If you're realistic, I think even before this whole era of, like, social media and everything, you know, they've said history was written by the winners, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if there's like a regime change, a revolution, a new king, a new, you bet your ass that, like, if they were in charge and in power, they're going to make everything they did look good in the history books, and the historian is going to be like, oh yeah, man, this king was brave, and who knows what the hell he really did. Sometimes they were, sometimes they were. And then if there's a new king and a new regime or whatever, they might be like, "Oh no, we're gonna change those books." That I hate that guy. We're gonna get rid of that. So,
wait a second.
So this has been going on probably forever.
Okay,
but you're absolutely right. Like with the news changing, like CNN, we just saw it, right? We just saw it with CNN and the terrorists, the Mamdani. The first of all, CNN was just saying. I was watching Abby Phillips' show, and they were all the Democrats on the show. Of course, there's like 4 Democrats versus 2 conservatives always, and they're all saying that it was an attack on Mamdani, all of them, or like 2 or 3 of them. And like Scott Jennings or whoever was, I don't know if it was Scott, but one of the conservatives was like, it wasn't on Mamdani, it was on the quote unquote white supremacists there that were anti-Islam or something. And they later on, I think Abby later on apologized in like a tweet that nobody saw.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean nobody saw. They weren't watching.
The headline stands, right? Yeah. The headline stands.
The headline stands, the show stands. Like she probably didn't. I mean, maybe she did, but I doubt she went on the show the next day and be like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I was lying or we were misinformed." She probably just put a little tweet out that nobody sees.
I think she did go on the show. To be fair,
she did.
I think she did go on the show. I think she made a statement. But at the same time, it's like the headline is the thing, right? The headline comes out. This dominates the narrative. In the history books, you go back and read the headline news, right? You go day by day. You can go through every day. You're not going to see the retraction because the retraction is buried in the paper, right? Or the online, later in the online section.
Very fine people, man.
So right.
So, very fine people thing.
When you look back at history, I even, what is history going to say about President Trump even, right? Because if you go back and look at even, 2012, 2016 to 2020, right? What does history say about Trump, right? Unless you were there, the history will probably be overwhelmingly negative because you got the COVID, you got all these other things that happened, and then when you think 30 years from now, what the kids will look at when they're learning about this time period, this great pandemic, this what will come out, that's what I think now is like even when I'm going back and looking at history, what really happened, it's like, what can I believe? Because the stuff I see now in present day is a lie too.
Listen, I mean, the AI is going to be probably going to be worse because AI, if we're going to be say like 30 years, they're doing some kind of AI thing. It might be even more instantaneous. Yes. So they're going to be aggregating everything written about Trump, which is mainly bad because the left dominated so many publications that are major, so many college papers, whatever you name it. That's what the AI is going to draw upon. It already is, it already does that. It's very left leaning and woke. So they're going to be it's going to be saying Trump is the worst president ever. He lied 15 times per speech or 40 times per speech, and he started all these wars, and he was COVID messed up, and he hated he was racist as hell, and that's probably what they're gonna, unless somehow conservatives win back the culture war, which it looks like we're kind of doing, but the left has so much power over institutions. They have so much power over cities.
So that's tough, the thing. Man. Like when it comes to the culture war, like people like the right will never win, bro. It's because
independent media.
No. I'm gonna tell you why. Let me tell you why.
The right is just to give hope. I think the right is kind of domating independent media. I think.
Well, independent media maybe, but
not the
legacy media. No.
But what
were you gonna say? Yeah. What were you gonna say though?
Because the right generally does things like have kids, right? Goes to work, build their families. The right in that regard, they're not online. They're not trying to be famous. They're not out here, screaming "my body, my choice" or coming out with new slogans, right? And that's why the culture war, in general, won't be won by the right because it's just not part of the program, right? I mean, you got some kids out here that would do some stuff, but when you talk about it's time to take care of my family, it's time to provide, I mean, earlier today, man, I'm outside gardening. you know what I mean? Like that's what the right tends to do.
And to your point, man, I just want to say real quick, Isaiah, to his point, like really quick, I think another thing that makes it even worse and more in that sense is that there's less and less people having families. I think there might be a little bit of a change of a pendulum swinging back but there's less and less people having kids, less people having families. Those people tend to stay more left leaning because once you have kids, everybody, I think most people know, once you have kids, you're like, oh, I got to think about my kids' future. I think about safety. I got to think about a good schools, nice community, good virtuous, watching virtuous programming instead of just being like, hey, we're a bunch of grown adult adolescents that like to fuck around and do bad things and party all the time and fuck, whatever. It's like now you got kids, and now you can't just have people doing wild shit outside your house all the time, So like, but the thing is that if there's less and less people having kids and family, that's going to be probably more and more Democrats and leftists. But I don't know.
But here's what I want to get to. What I want to say. The reason why the right has the potential to not win the current culture war is because a lot of times they run from culture instead of trying to actively participate in it. I mean,
so when you say culture, what do you mean?
What I'm talking about is what I do. Like when it comes to, I'm a conservative and I love soccer. Okay. God, I didn't think I would ever call myself that. I'm a conservative. I love soccer and I love playing it. I love watching it. I support local soccer. Shout to Westchester SC, by the way, who had a very, very tough game last night. But you don't see conservatives, like out conservatives in soccer, like within soccer culture, period. Okay. Last year, there was a situation where a guy was thrown out of a St. Louis SC game for wearing a MAGA hat. And he was obviously snitched on. Somebody dimed him out, from somebody over in the supporter section. You know what I'm saying? Like me being a DC United fan for as long as I've been. Like you hardly ever. Well, there are some conservative fans, but like you will. But for the most part, leftism has dominated. It has a monopoly.
And that's in general, Isaiah, for like the last 20 years. Like it was so common for every news station. Comedy Central was anti-conservative. Like Comedy Central was huge back in the day. Daily Show with Jon Stewart, Colbert Report, both making fun of the right the entire time, pretty much. You know what I mean? For years.
Man,
I used to watch it. I used to watch it all the time.
South Park got on everybody though.
No, they used to. Yes, you're right. They're libertarians usually, and they used to go against the left a lot. But not, this last season has been like total TDS. I don't know if you've seen that, but I can only watch the first 3 episodes. It was shitting on Trump the whole time, and a really stupid. I love South Park, and it was a really stupid derivative. Like I was really weird. I was like, I'm surprised they're doing this so much. It was like they're trying to bomb their own show.
Yeah, I love South Park, but
I love South Park too. I love South Park.
But like the good thing is, and this is the same with not just with TV shows, video games, sports leagues, the whole bit. They're burning themselves out though. Like that's really the best news about all of this, right? It's like they have gone so crazy. The left in this country, they've been
a little bit tyrannical, honestly.
They've become that ain't no little bit.
You lose. Yeah, you're right. You lose your job. You're kicked out. You can't be you can't be in the team.
Exactly. Yeah. You Tatsiakis Foutas, a good friend of mine, a Greek striker, one of the best strikers that DC United, like one of the best players that DC actually had, lit up the league, and I am convinced that he was kicked out of MLS, was kicked off of DC United by leftists who were desperate to get some type of anti-racism scalp, and they got one. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole cancel.
I mean, look how they try to get rid of Alexi Lalas, how they try to get rid of Carly Floyd for having a slightly conservative point of view, or those hockey players, not just the hockey players now just going to see Trump, but hockey players in the past who didn't want to wear the LGBT thing or the trans flag or whatever it was. And, and then they, you see the left will go nuts about that. And it's just like, They've been doing this for a long time, and yeah, you're right. People are getting tired of it. Thank God, they're starting to get tired of it. But it was complete cultural dominance for a long time, where it's like people are like, "How could you even be a conservative? How could you even be a Republican? Like, are you stupid? You're stupid and racist, and you don't care about poor people at all. You're just rich. You just care about your taxes. Like that's really it. It's like no, there's a lot more to it.
I will say conservatives, we do have to
conservative. Like really?
Yeah, I would say conservative. We do have to get better with our comeback game.
Don't you know that Trump has like 34 felonies? Like, how could you do that? Like, you actually want to eat here in my restaurant? If you don't get out right now, I'm gonna fucking kill you. Like that's how they talk, bro.
Yeah,
that's how they fucking talk.
Crazy.
Like,
yeah, conservatives do need to grow some balls, though, man. I will say that it's not about necessarily winning a culture war, but it is about not standing down. Right. And I think that's what conservatives in general have done, is just stood down. And there's a real, when we use this term lightly, but culture war, there is a war going on. And I think a lot of times conservatives don't want to realize that there's a war going on. They try to play in the high ground as, like we're just better than everybody, or I don't know what it is, but like you got to start swinging at some point,
That you do.
And that's how you win if you are saying it's a culture war, but it's
totally.
Yeah, I mean
100%. I will say though, as you know, like there was high and there still is for some people in some places, but there's high cost to like just admitting that you're conservative in certain groups in certain circles. Sometimes people try to get you fired. Like that doesn't really go both ways, I don't think. Like people don't usually try to get somebody. Like if you have a Biden hat at the office or Biden sign, like people aren't probably going to try to get you fired. But somebody might be like, "Oh, you voted for him, maybe." But if you have a Trump hat or a MAGA sign or something, like you're probably toast unless it's like a real red county.
No, somebody tried to get me fired, man. It was on Twitter. Somebody, I think, because you guys know I was I do a lot of stuff in Baltimore City, and it was crazy because it was over these commie bike lanes, right? So the bike lane advocacy group, right? They're fucking, and they see me on the news and stuff talking about these bike lanes and stuff, but they saying they tweeted the company I work for and saying, "Did you know your employee is out here taking part of anti-democratic actions? Like, why is he still working there?"
Bitch. Oh my God. See, nobody wants to deal with that. People don't want to deal with that.
Those are high stakes for some people. Sometimes people, that's the only job they're going to get. It's going to be hard to get another job. They don't have another lane to get into, or they go back to school or something. So that's part of the reason I think why there's a bit of cowardice, or there has been. But you're right. We got to find out a way to stand our ground, and I think we're getting better at it.
We have to. I'm sorry. No. We have to. There is no, like, I'm just going to say this. The fact that you have to hide who you are whilst everybody in
Hollywood, just another example, Hollywood.
Like we're talking
Chris Pratt
about
got so much hate just for being like a Christian.
Zach Levi, like all these, like there's so many people with, like, my issue is this. Just like Logic said, grow a pair, go to a soccer game, go play around a Fortnite if you want. You know what I'm saying? Participate in the culture. Who cares about these people? Why do you care about if people who would never, ever, ever like you anyways?
Yep.
Why would you care what they think? They don't like you. They see they don't want to talk to you. They don't want to what are you going to do? You're going to stand in the supporter section of Timber's Army or something? As a conservative, they'll never let you in. Especially if you have some type of online presence. But guess what? There's a whole other stadium that you can go and sit in, right? There's there's a whole other place where the people who are doing the harassing and the canceling and everything else, they can sit over in their corner while you enjoy a soccer game, while you enjoy the company of being with your friends. Take your friends to a fucking game. As many times as I've taken family and friends, everything else, I've gone 6 deep. I went I'm sorry. I went 8 deep one time to a DC United when we played New York Red Bulls out at Red Bull Arena. I will not call it Sports Illustrated Stadium. God damn it. Like, you can bring your friends. It's okay to introduce your friends and your family to things that you like. That's what we used to do, before everything went to shit. It's okay to be human. It's okay to have those connections. Get out there, go touch some grass, go kick a soccer ball around. You know what I'm saying? Listen, if you play like a soccer league or something, right? And you don't, and you're like, well, you played with some people and they found out you were conservative. Guess what you can do? You can go and get 10 of your friends, right? Or 11 of your friends, or however many. You go and y'all pool your money and get in the league yourself. Yep. And kick the shit out of every single team that's in there, right? And that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? But that's the point, like participating.
And then then at the end of the game, you shake hands with the people and go, "This is MAGA country."
Right, exactly. Oh, this motherfucker. He says Isaiah has to play goalie.
That's a shake. Is such a fucking hater, man.
Listen, just so you know, I actually do play goalkeeper. Okay, but my natural position is I'm a forward. Believe it or not. That's our show tonight, folks. We really appreciate everybody. Thank you. Shout out to P. Ray Easley. God, Lord, please let that woman win her primary tomorrow. Shout to Zeek Arkham. Shout to Metro Conservative Media, Logic, who's down here with us.
Brother Logic, man.
Oh, this motherfucker, man. This motherfucker.
Oh. He's talking shit again? Shake talking shit?
I know. We always put the fat kids in goal.
Shake, you are a fucking malparido. That's what we call you in Costa Rica.
Oh, my God. Like, listen.
The shithead.
Again, I'm pretty good at goalkeeper, but I'm better up top. In the final third. But anyways, Damani Felder joins us for episode 48. We will see you next Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for having me.
And again, shout to Metro Conservative Media. Logic, we love y'all over there, brother.
Right
yep,
on,
no
man.
question.
Enjoy. Have a great week, everybody. Till next time.